What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 10 years of practicing Bankai 1 PB Chapter 1 Practice Bankai for 10 years, the King of the Night System ===. Advertisement The boundless desert, the sky is clear. Suddenly, a dazzling white light flashed by, and the anxious air seemed to be torn in an instant. Bass, the sound of the sword rang, spreading in all directions. Immediately, this white light flashed again, quickly retracting from a distance. In the end, it turned into a short sword that shone with silver light and held it in the hand of a brown-haired boy in black. 10 years, I finally mastered Bankai thoroughly. Qing Yu stared at the silver blade in his hand, his eyes shone, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This knife is called Shinsō. In the Shinigami World, Zanpakutō, the captain of the genius 3rd Division Ichimaru Jin, is also the longest and fastest Zanpakutō in the Soul Society. Long-range sniper, melee sweep, proficient in everything, is the hero of Zanpakutō. And just today, Qing Yu finally fully grasped its ultimate meaning Bankai, Kamishini no Yari. 10 years. It has been 10 years since he crossed here. When he woke up in the desert, as soon as he opened his eyes, he immediately bound a system called the King of Void Night. Subsequently, he quickly obtained the initial Ryatsu and the only locked Zanpakutō Shinsō. He, who was still unsure of the situation, saw these elements in Shinigami, and when he connected with the surrounding deserts, he immediately made a judgment. Here, it is most likely Hueco Mundo, in the Shinigami World. An area full of dangers. Here, there are countless cruel virtual groups, fighting and devouring each other all day long. Advertisement The existence of Menos Grande level can even rely on Ryatsu alone to disperse the weak and die on the spot. Looking at the endless desert around, Qing Yu naturally became a little uncomfortable in his heart. But at that moment, the system suddenly told him that he only needs to stay in the initial secret realm of the system to practice in order to avoid external attacks. After hearing this, Qing Yu was of course overjoyed. Read more at mtlarchive.com. After finally passing through it, he didn't want to directly become Menos Grande's rations. So he chose Go Meng, be invincible, and never leave. Now, 10 years later, his Zanpakutō proficiency has successfully increased to 100%, and he has completely mastered Bankai. Today, his level of development for Kamishini no Yari is definitely not weaker than Ichimaru Jin himself. 10 years are really fast. Qing Yu smiled and put Kamishini no Yari in his hand into the scabbard, and then looked towards the void. System, open the panel. Ding. A crisp reminder sounded, and then, an aqua-blue illusory interface instantly unfolded in front of his eyes. Open black lens bracket The King of the Night System close black lens bracket Open black lens bracket Host. Qing Yu close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Ryatsu. LV.3, Elementary, close black lens bracket, Zanpakutō. Shinsō, 100%. Open black lens bracket Swordsmanship. Mastery close black lens bracket Open black lens bracket White hits, proficient close black lens bracket. Shunpo. Excellence, advertisement Open black lens bracket Keto, excellence close black lens bracket. Props. Deathmaster outfit, portable righteous corpse, recovery medicine. Other skills. Ryatsu perception, LV.3, secret skill 1000 anti-white snake, LV.3. See here, a smile appeared in Qing Yu's eyes. In the past 10 years, apart from practicing Bankai, of course he has not been idle. There is a function called survival reward in the system. Every 10 days of survival, you can draw some special rewards from the system. Today, he is proficient in swordsmanship and white hits, while Shunpo and Keto are both at an excellent level. It can be said that in addition to Ryatsu, who is slightly weaker in other aspects, he is no weaker than any ordinary captain. I don't know when I will be able to draw Ryatsu's bonus again. Qing Yu looked at the system panel and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. But at this moment, suddenly, the appearance of a voice directly interrupted his thoughts. Hey Tut, was the light that burst out just now caused by your knife? Oh, it looks like you seem to be a very good material. Chapter 2 Sasori of Red Sand? Am I in the land of wind? Advertisement What sound? Isn't this a system secret? At the moment when he heard that voice, Qing Yu's gaze moved and he looked back subconsciously. However, unexpectedly, not far behind him, there was actually a handsome boy with red hair and brown eyes standing. At this moment, he looked at this side with a weird smile on his face. The emptiness of human form? Arankar, Qing Yu's expression immediately moved slightly, not daring to be careless. His thoughts sank. One hand was placed on the handle of the knife, and he said in a deep voice. Are you Arankar? While talking, Qing Yu carefully looked up and down from the other party's whole body, trying to find the white bone mask on his body that represented emptiness. As a result, after watching for a long time, there were no traces of bones. Advertisement, there's no virtual mask? Qing Yu narrowed his eyes slightly, and muttered to himself in surprise. Read more at mtlarchive.com. When the voice fell, the red-haired teenager on the opposite side suddenly looked strange, then raised his chin slightly, squinted his eyes, and said indifferently. Arankar. Hey, I haven't heard of it, but what are you guys looking at? It's okay to tell you who I am. You are a dying person anyway. Speaking of this, the red-haired boy suddenly raised his hand, took out a simple gray scroll from behind, and then chuckled and said, "My name is Sasori of Red Sand, and I am a puppet master. Not long ago, I just destroyed a village. I wanted to find some good puppet materials, but I didn't expect to see your incredible sword light. It seems that my luck is really good. You seem to be a rare good material." Having said that, the red-haired boy's eyes shone, his mouth opened, revealing a chillingly weird smile. And the next moment, he didn't seem to have any intention to hesitate, he just spread the scroll in his hand on the ground, ready to reach out and press it down. Wait. Seeing this picture, Qing Yu on the opposite side suddenly opened his eyes and raised his hand to stop his movement. Hearing this, the red-haired boy stopped for a while, raised his eyes impatiently, and looked over. What's wrong? Advertisement at this moment, the expression on Qing Yu's face is a bit embarrassing. You just said. Are you the Sasori of the Red Sand who killed Sanagik your third Kazekage? As soon as the voice fell, the red-haired boy was taken aback for a moment, and then the corners of his mouth suddenly curled up, he grinned and said with a smile. "Oh, you fellow, it doesn't seem to be ignorant." Obviously, he admitted it. Hearing this answer, Qing Yu here was completely silent, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. No wonder when I first saw it, I felt a little familiar. This red-haired boy is actually the S-rank rebel from Sanagik in Naruto, a genius puppet master, Sasori. Looking at his current attire, at this time, it seems that he has not yet transformed his body, nor has he joined Akatsuki. But what is the special situation? It turns out that this so-called desert is not Hueco Mundo in Shinigami at all, but the desert of the Kingdom of Wind in Naruto? Chapter 3 Third Kazekage Puppet, a violent magnet style, ===. Advertisement also, doesn't the system say that as long as I stay in the secret realm, I won't be discovered by the outside world? Why can this guy come in? System, what's the situation? What about the secret realm? Qing Yu questioned the system loudly in his heart. Ding. The system detects that the host has successfully mastered Bankai and has enough strength to survive alone, so the secret protection is automatically removed. Qing Yu's face was completely black. He didn't expect to be killed, and suddenly such a situation came. But at this moment, Sasori, the red-haired boy on the opposite side, didn't seem to have the patience to wait anymore, and put his hand directly on the scroll of summoning. Bang! The white smoke burst instantly. Then, in front of Sasori, a puppet man with a gray robe and blue hair appeared instantly. Sanagik's third Kazekage, a magical existence. During his lifetime, he was known as the strongest wind shadow in history. In fact, it is the existence of Sasori who was used to set off the red sand. Not even the name appeared. The level of water mixing in the name of the strongest is comparable to Konan's strongest Naruto Sarutobi Hiruzen. Looking at this familiar style of painting, Qing Yu couldn't help but sigh with emotion. At this time, Sasori stood up, and 10 blue chakra threads appeared on his hands, which were connected to the puppet of third Kazekage. Immediately, he looked at Qing Yu, grinned, and said, "Although you don't seem to understand the situation, I don't have so much time to react to you. Now it is your honor to use the strongest puppet to deal with you." Advertisement, then, die. When the voice fell, Sasori's hands interlaced, and the chakra thread danced. On the arms of the wind shadow puppet, a broad and sharp giant blade was suddenly unfolded, and it swept towards Qing Yu here. Base. Read more at mtlarchive.com. The light of the knife flickered and quaked. The power is frightening, however, at the moment when the blade was about to hit Qing Yu. Base. Qing Yu's body suddenly turned into an afterimage, disappeared directly from the place, and then appeared in the distance. The blade of the wind shadow puppet was cut empty, and Sasori's eyebrows couldn't help but raised slightly. Tisk. Shunshen technique. Sure enough, I can't expect to kill you so easily. So, magnet-style sand iron shigur, hum. At the moment when the voice fell, Sasori's eyes condensed, and the chakra thread in his hand moved, and the hands of the wind shadow puppet completed the knot seal in an instant. Countless sand and iron immediately assembled, and appeared in front of the wind shadow puppet, like a monstrous black sea, full of oppression. Afterwards, all the sand iron quickly began to condense, directly changing into a pile of black fine needles, bursting away at Qing Yu at extremely fast speed. Falling like steel rain. Seeing the full sky of sand and iron, when the rain impacted, at this moment, Qing Yu on the opposite side did not have any panic or fear. He just looked indifferent, as calm as a frozen lake. Slightly lifted his left hand, opened his lips and teeth lightly, and said faintly, 81 of Bakudo, splitting void, advertisement. Boom. As the voice fell, a huge water blue barrier suddenly appeared. Like a sky wall that cuts off a space, it instantly intercepts all the sand and iron shiyu from the front. All the sand iron fine needles hit the enchantment, just like a mayfly shaking the tree, unable to cause the slightest impact. 10 seconds passed, until all the sand iron fine needle attacks were over. Splitting void remains the same. Seeing this picture, Sasori suddenly moved his eyes and was slightly startled. What's the situation? This is Muji Ninjutsu. Is it the wind-style secret technique? No, that's not right. Is it some kind of special blood inheritance boundary? Realizing this, Sasori was surprised at first, and then suddenly there was a hint of excitement in his heart. Seeing this peculiar power, he more firmly wanted to make the brown-haired boy in front of him an adult puppet. Maybe it will become a super weapon no weaker than third Kazekage. And at this time, on this side, Qing Yu looked at Sasori ahead and frowned slightly. Originally, he planned to leave here directly, not wanting to deal with this hairy man, but he did not expect that the other party would directly resort to a killer move. In this way, it doesn't seem to work if you don't fight. At this moment, in Qing Yu's mind, a prompt sound suddenly sounded. Ding! Trigger a side mission. Defeat the genius puppet master Sasori of the Red Sand, 0/1, the reward is unknown. Total defeated 3 strong shadow ranks, 0 thirds, the reward is unknown. Chapter 4 If this is your whole card, I am disappointed equals. Advertisement Side mission. After hearing the prompt tone, Qing Yu was taken aback for a moment, and then he was overjoyed. Unexpectedly, in addition to survival rewards, there would be such a way to obtain system rewards? This was something he had never heard of before. Now, it seems that there is no more hesitation. Thinking of this, Qing Yu raised his eyes and looked at Sasori ahead, with a slightly playful smile at the corner of his mouth. With 100% of his current Bankai's strength, it would naturally not be a problem to defeat a Sasori who is not yet complete. Seeing his expression, Sasori's face on the opposite side remained unchanged, and said indifferently. You, who are about to be made a puppet, may only laugh now. By the way, I am very interested in the moves you just showed. So I decided to. A quick fight. The voice fell. Sasori raised his hands, the chakra line of the fingertips became more solid, and in front of the wind shadow puppet's hands, countless black sand and iron appeared again. Hearing this, Qing Yu's smile remained the same, just smiled. Oh, what a coincidence. It just so happens that I also plan to make a quick decision. When the voice fell, Qing Yu pressed the scabbard with one hand and the handle with the other, and gently pulled out the silver blade on his waist. Zanpakutō, Shinsō. Advertisement. The moment the blade was unsheathed, Sasori's eyes flashed. Tisk. Read more at mtlarchive.com. It looks like this is the endurance that can be extended and contracted just now, right? Come on, let me see what kind of performance it can have. Sasori said blankly. After hearing this, Qing Yu just chuckled and lifted the knife in his hand, with the tip of the knife facing the red sand Sasori in front. Smiled and said, You might regret saying this later. Shoot him, Shinsō. Call out. When the voice fell, Qing Yu's whole body, Ryatsu, broke out. And the seemingly short blade in his hand, at this moment, the blade suddenly stretched out. The sharp tip of the knife flickered with a cold light, and in just an instant, it spanned more than a dozen meters and swept directly in front of Sasori of the Red Sand. Sasori's eyes suddenly shook. So fast, he didn't expect that the brown-haired guy in front of him, who looked so harmless to humans and animals, would start attacking without saying a word. However, he seemed to have expected it a long time ago, and the iron sand that was controlling the wind shadow puppet flew in an instant, and it happened to be blocked in front of this sword. Countless sand and iron gathered in an instant, forming a wall of sand and iron, just blocking the point of the silver knife. Advertisement. However, after only a moment, boom. The thick sand and iron wall was instantly penetrated by the tip of the knife, and it was cut directly along the left arm of the red sand Sasori. Puff. With blood splashing, Sasori's face suddenly changed. In that short moment, his arm was cut directly by the blade. And the next moment, that extremely long blade immediately began to shrink, and finally, returned to Qing Yu's hands. As if nothing happened. On the opposite side, Qing Yu just looked at Sasori with a smile, and said with a light smile. You deserve to be a strong shadow rank. Did you escape it by relying on your combat instinct? It seems that it is still very difficult to solve you with Shikai alone. Hearing this, Sasori's gaze suddenly sank, and he said indifferently. It turned out to be able to directly break through the sand and iron walls of Fengying. The power is really good. It is a pity that both the speed and the accuracy are not good. If this kind of ninja is your final card, then I am disappointed. Chapter 5 The battle ended in an instant. Bankai Kamishini no Yari, ===. Advertisement. The voice fell. Sasori was expressionless, and immediately began to operate the wind shadow puppet again. Although his arm was cut just now, for him, this degree of injury is completely negligible. This time, on the right hand of the wind shadow puppet, a black spell suddenly flashed, and in an instant it summoned thousands of arms, directly surrounding Qing Yu. In these arms, there are countless organs with poisonous fog hidden. As long as the opponent is besieged, you can win in an instant. So far, he has used this trick to kill countless ninja powers. However, even at this time, on the opposite side, Qing Yu dressed in black, but his smile remained unchanged. He just raised the knife in his hand again, placed one hand on the blade, and the tip of the knife was facing the front, grinning open the corner of his mouth, and said with a smile. Since I said a quick fight, I don't intend to continue to spend it with you. So next, don't blink, because the battle is likely to end in an instant. Speaking of this, in Qing Yu's pupils, a golden Ryatsu ray of light is fleeting. The next moment, he lightly opened his lips and teeth and smiled. Bankai, God, kill, gun, base. Before the words fell, the bright light of the sword flashed in an instant. Between the electric light and flint, a dazzling blade of light burst out from Qing Yu's hands instantly, passing by at such a speed that it was so swift that it was hard to see. Advertisement. At this moment, the air seems to be cut. I saw the thousands of arms of the wind shadow puppet. At this moment, they directly exploded and turned into iron shards in the sky. At the same time, the tip of the knife reached the sky without knowing when. Read more at mtlarchive.com. And Sasori's abdomen, there was a huge blood hole directly, and blood spurted out. Puff. The dark red blood stained the yellow sand behind him. At this moment, the world seemed silent, dead. Sasori's heart contracted suddenly, and his breathing almost stopped. His eyes widened in horror, and he looked at Qing Yu here in disbelief. His pupils suddenly shrunk to the smallest. In Qing Yu's hand, he held a plain short sword impressively. The knife light has long since disappeared. Sasori's thoughts were completely interrupted, and his mind went blank. What exactly happened? When did the brown-haired guy's knife rush out, and when did it return to his hand? Can't see clearly. This terrifying speed and destructive power. What is going on? Why now? The aura on that guy is so different from before. Sasori froze completely in place. Advertisement. He opened his mouth and seemed to want to say something. In the end, without being able to say anything, he fell straight back and fell on the surface of the sand. The chakra line in his hand disappeared, and the wind shadow puppet suddenly turned into a pile of waste, directly limp on the ground. His eyes widened. Try to understand the situation clearly. But in the end, he passed out completely. Before losing consciousness, there was only one thought left in Sasori's mind. If he can survive this time, he absolutely wants to transform his body into an adult puppet. Only then can he fight this brown-haired guy. The flesh and blood are suffering, and the machinery soars. Only by turning into a puppet can it be eternal. And at this time, above the desert, above the sky in the distance, a woman in a red cloud and black robe was floating in the air with the wings of a piece of paper spreading out, witnessing all this. At this moment, she opened her mouth slightly, completely dumbfounded. Chapter 6. The Shadow Class was killed in seconds. A knife that extends 10 kilometers. Advertisement. Akatsuki of the White Tiger. This is Konan's codename in Akatsuki. But today, the reason why she appeared in the desert of the Kingdom of Wind. It was also entirely because of the command of the mysterious masked man. She is here to pull people for Akatsuki organization. This time, her target was the Sanagakure S-class rebel who killed Third Kazekage, the famous and talented puppet master, Sasori of the Red Sand. Since Sasori is often shrouded in puppets, he is rarely found in ordinary places. It took several days before Konan finally discovered that Sasori had attacked several villages on the border of the Kingdom of Wind. So, following Sasori's trajectory, Konan finally found this place today. However, she had just seen Sasori's figure and had not had time to talk to him. Suddenly witnessed the scene just now. The well-known Sasori, not only why, suddenly started fighting with the brown-haired boy. What's even more outrageous is that suddenly, he was killed by the brown-haired boy with an extremely fast blade. There is not even a fighting process. Konan was completely stupid. Said a good shadow-level powerhouse, that's it. Was he killed in a second? Moreover, the distance that the knife's light extends is a bit too far, right? If you look at it from the air, the distance that Konan can detect visually is at least 10 kilometers. A knife that can extend 10 kilometers? A bunch of unbelievable question marks appeared in Konan's heart. However, compared to this length, what is even more terrifying is the expansion and contraction speed of the knife. Advertisement. At the moment that horrible light appeared, the blade seemed to have returned to his hands, as if nothing had happened. After hesitating for a moment, Konan decided to go down and see the situation. Read more at mtlarchive.com. No matter what you think, the picture just now is a bit too strange. Although there may be a risk of fighting, however, she possesses Shijijiu, which is perfectly immune to all physical attacks. No matter how horrible the opponent's knife is, she naturally won't be afraid. Moreover, she didn't want to just go there for nothing. After all, her job is to recruit people, although Sasori may not be able to recruit people, but maybe we can recruit a more powerful existence for Akatsuki than Sasori of Akasa. While thinking about it, Konan opened his wings and flew down. At this time, in the desert, looking at Sasori who fell in front, Qing Yu's mind immediately heard the system prompt. Ding, congratulations to host, the side mission was successfully completed. Defeat the genius puppet master Sasori of the Red Sand. 1/1. Rewards. Shunpo experience plus 100. Keto experience plus 200. Ryatsu plus 1000. Total defeated 3 strong shadow ranks, 1/3, the reward is unknown. When the prompt sound fell, Qing Yu's eyes suddenly brightened. In addition to Shunpo and Keto's bonus experience, is there a rare Ryatsu reward? Wonderful. You know, in the past 10 years, most of the rewards he has drawn from the system have been slashing the fist and leaving the ghost, and few have been able to directly increase Ryatsu. Advertisement. Even now, his Ryatsu is only LV.3. As for the importance of Ryatsu, there is no need to go into details. To quote Aizen's words, that is, the battle between Shinigami is essentially the battle of Ryatsu. When the gap between Ryatsu is too big, it can even completely ignore the enemy's attack. Even the strong only need to release Ryatsu, and the weak can be dispelled directly, without the need to fight. In fact, Qing Yu just tried to release Ryatsu in front of Sasori. The result is that it can only make one's own aura become stronger, and it is not enough to shock others. Therefore, now with the reward for upgrading Ryatsu, Qing Yu is naturally very surprised. However, when Qing Yu was thinking, suddenly, in his Ryatsu perception, a target was approaching fast. Qing Yu's heart moved slightly and immediately squinted, looking in the direction of perception. But see the sky above. A woman in a red cloud and black robe is spreading out her wings like angels, looking down below. The iconic blue-violet short hair and the floating pieces of paper around her clearly explained her identity. The moment Qing Yu saw it, she was startled at first, then she couldn't help but smile. Looking at him from this angle, Konan's beautiful figure is undoubtedly revealed, and the large black robe can't hide it. It's worthy of the seventh way of pain, the most fierce way. Chapter 7 How do you act like an MLM organization? Advertisement. Qing Yu admired it openly and sighed in her heart. Seeing Konan appearing here, in fact, he had already guessed it. It is very possible that she specially invited Sasori of Akasha to join Akatsuki. After all, there are really few opportunities for the two of them to share the same screen, and even less in the desert. It's a pity that Sasori was destroyed due to the appearance of himself as an outsider. This is what we have now. At this moment, Konan, who was floating in the air, naturally couldn't know what was thinking in the mind of the serious-looking young man below. Her gaze just stared at Qing Yu faintly, without any waves. Who are you? Did you kill Sasori of the S-rank rebel Akasago who controlled the Third Kazekage puppet by your own efforts? When has Sanagakure, the country of wind, have such a powerful existence as you? The fastest update chapter of Filu. Konan said blankly. In fact, the purpose of these words is obvious. Although it is praise on the surface, it is actually to probe Qing Yu's intelligence. And Qing Yu naturally heard it and said with a chuckle. You probably misunderstood something. I am not from Sanagakure, and the reason why I fought with Sasori was only because he wanted to kill me. With that, Qing Yu spread his hands helplessly. Konan's gaze moved slightly, and then faintly said. So, look at your attire, are you a displaced person? Konan has seen many such people in strange costumes, most of them lost their homes because of the war. Well, almost. Advertisement. Qing Yu scratched his head. He had just lost the shelter of the system's secret not long ago, and he was indeed a displacement. Hearing Qing Yu's answer, Konan's eyes moved slightly, then he raised his hand and said. So, the displaced, do you want to join Akatsuki? Our organization needs power like you, and in the same way, it can provide shelter for people like you. Read more at mtlarchive.com. When the voice fell, a small question mark suddenly appeared on Qing Yu's face. What's the situation? Is this the beginning of the invitation? You obviously haven't figured out who I am, right? Qing Yu's heart was surprised, but after thinking about it carefully, he suddenly understood. At this time, Akatsuki is probably still in its infancy, and it is not the late 10-member Heaven group. The only real members are Nagato, Konan, and 2 actors, the Masked Man and the Zetsu. In fact, there are not a few members who can really act. Otherwise, the leaders of Konan will not be allowed to come out to recruit people. Thinking about it this way, if I defeated Sasori, I might be solicited. Thought of here, Qing Yu couldn't help but ponder. Seeing Qing Yu thinking about it, Konan knew there was a play, so he continued. As long as you join us, except for tasks, everything else will not be constrained. You can still do whatever you want. How about it? A single person like you should need an organization, right? Konan said seductively. Qing Yu suddenly turned Byakugan. How'd I feel that you were like an MLM organization? Advertisement, but you're pretty okay, I can join. When the voice fell, Konan's eyes flashed slightly, however, the next moment, I heard Qing Yu said. But let me talk about it first, how much do you pay and do you care about the food? Konan fell silent, but at this moment, in Qing Yu's mind, suddenly there was a reminder sound. Ding, congratulations to host, the main task has been completed. Join any organization, 1/1. Reward, Shinigami's Hollow Power. Shinigami's Hollow Power. Host will obtain the perfect fusion of the virtual soul, which can easily break the boundary between Shinigami and the virtual, enter the masked state of Hollow, and gain all-round strength increase. The beep falls, Qing Yu's eyes lit up suddenly. Main mission? He only vaguely remembered that 10 years ago, when he first crossed, he seemed to have heard the mission issued by the system. But because he chose Go Ming at the time, he never paid attention to it. Unexpectedly, today it was completed by accident. This wave is not a loss. If you join other organizations in Shinobu Village, you might have to face intrigue. But in Akatsuki, it is enough to fish in troubled waters, and maybe you can complete various side tasks to continue to become stronger. Qing Yu looked at Konan in front of him, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help raising. Chapter 8 Is this Sasori in particular? Did you bring the wrong person? Advertisement. The country of Rain, Rain Shinobi Village. Rain Shinobi, the ninja village in the country of Rain. It was established by the legendary ninja, Hanzo of the Salamander, who was called the demigod. Due to geographical reasons, the climate of Rain Shinobi Village is in the rainy season all year round, and rainwater flows into the inland lake surrounding the village. And its location is at the junction of the 3 superpowers, the country of fire, the country of wind, and the country of earth. Therefore, when there is a war between these 3 countries, the land of Rain is almost unsurprisingly affected by the war, or even completely covered. And, during the Second Ninja World War, the ruling Hanzo of the Salamander, in order to expand the territory of the country of Rain, also set off a war against the country of fire, the country of soil, and the country of iron. In the end, although his personal battle was victorious, he was completely defeated at the national level. This land, therefore, began to become a land full of grievances. And now, Hanzo of the Salamander has also been killed by the mysterious masked male United Whirlpool Nagato, and Rain Shinobi Village has become Akatsuki's main base. At this time, in a gloomy cave, the sound of water droplets is endless, and the humid air is all over the surroundings. Oh, it seems Konan is back. Pain. A man who was half black and half white like a pitcher plant made a weird voice and said to the orange-haired man in front of him. Upon hearing this, the orange-haired man raised his eyes slightly and looked towards the entrance of the cave, indifferently. There are two very different chakras. It seems that Konan has successfully brought back the Sasori of the Red Sand. When the mysterious masked man divided the tasks, Konan was the only one in charge, so Pain naturally came to a conclusion. At this moment, the footsteps at the entrance of the cave were getting closer. At last, I saw a woman wearing a red cloud and black robe from Akatsuki's organization and a brown-haired boy wearing a black dress appearing at the same time. Advertisement. Naturally, Konan and Qing Yu came here from the Kingdom of Wind. Seeing the two appearing, the Nepenthes on the side suddenly made a curious voice, exclaiming, "Ah, Konan, is this the real body of Sasori of the Red Sand? Read more at mtlarchive.com." Unexpectedly young. Hearing this, but Tiandao Pain frowned slightly. This person turned out to be Sasori of Red Sand. What's the situation? How do I remember that in the intelligence, Sasori seems to be a guy with red hair? Is there any place in Ninja World where you can dye your hair? After thinking for a moment, he looked at Konan and said indifferently, "What's the matter, Konan? Are you sure? This guy is Sasori of the genuine genius puppet master Akasa." There was a trace of doubt in Pain's tone. After hearing this, Konan stopped, shook his head slightly, and said calmly, "No, Pain. On the contrary, I can be sure that he is not Sasori of the Red Sand." When the voice fell, Pain's mouth suddenly made a surprised voice. And Ju on the side made a very exaggerated surprise. "Ah?" There is no doubt that Konan's answer made them both very confused. Advertisement. If you know that he is not Sasori of Akasa, why should you bring him to Akatsuki's headquarters base? In the order of the mysterious masked man, the quota of the Red Sand Sasori was clearly stipulated. Just as they were thinking, Konan glanced at Qing Yu beside him, and then lowered his eyes slightly and said softly, "The reason I brought him back, because I saw with my own eyes that he killed the Red Sand Sasori." Nani? As soon as these words came out, Tiandao Pain and Ju's expression changed at the same time. What? Sasori of the Red Sand was killed? Was this guy who seemed harmless to humans and animals in front of you? Obviously the chakra in his body looks faint to an imperceptible level. Such a person can kill the Sasori of the Red Sand who possesses the Third Kazekage puppet. Konan seemed a little shocked when he saw Pen, and he continued to explain. "When I found the trail of Sasori of Red Sand, I happened to see Qing Yu fighting with him. The incident happened suddenly. Before I had time to figure out the situation, I saw that Sasori of the Red Sand and his wind shadow puppet were pierced by the short sword on Qing Yu's waist. He is also a displaced person, so I made a good proposition and brought him back here. Anyone who can kill Sasori of the Red Sand has the strength to join." Konan's eyes dropped slightly, and he spoke calmly. Chapter 9. Put your hands together. Call what comes technique. First more, equals. Advertisement. Konan's voice fell. With the eyes of Tiandao Pain and Ju, they all saw Qing Yu's body and the short sword hanging around his waist at the same time. Immediately afterwards, the same doubts arose in the hearts of the two of them. Such a short blade, how did Sasori, who is a puppet master, penetrate? Is this a special kind of toleration? If he really has the power to manipulate such a forbearance, he does have the power to join Akatsuki. When the two of them were thinking, suddenly, another strange voice appeared in the cave. "Hello. Speaking of recruiting people, did you find such a weak kid?" As soon as the voice fell, a man wearing a large red cloud black robe and a black face mask appeared behind Pain. His eyes showed a strange green. Seeing him appear, Konan's gaze narrowed slightly. From the outside, she could already see it. This seemed to be the other person the masked man asked Pain to recruit. The immortal Kakuzu who rebels in Takagamura. At this moment, this Kakuzu's face seemed to have some impatient expressions. He paced gently and walked in front of Qing Yu, looking down on Qing Yu condescendingly. In front of his sturdy body, Qing Yu naturally appeared very thin. But even so, Qing Yu didn't have the slightest fear, just stared at Kakuzu with a smile, and said with a chuckle, "It seems you are the immortal ninja, Akatsuki, Kakuzu? Nice to meet you." Qing Yu can't help but recognize this familiar appearance. However, upon hearing his words, Kakuzu narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "Hey, you kid. The weak chakra breath on your body makes me very doubtful whether you have the strength to fight with me. It's so weak, it makes you want to crush it directly." Advertisement. As soon as this word came out, the atmosphere in the cave suddenly solidified. But Qing Yu's expression remained the same, looking at Kakuzu faintly, her heart calm. Read more at mtlarchive.com. He had known for a long time that this Kakuzu was just a haircut who liked to kill his teammates. Except for the cult fan Hidan, who relied on the immortal body, he took care of almost all the other things he had partnered with. And now, it seems that he is still taking a shot against himself. At this time, Pain on the side spoke, faintly, "Kakuzu, stop, Akatsuki doesn't allow infighting. What's more, now is not the time for you to let you vent your desire to kill. Saint Sakura download." Hearing this, Kakuzu turned his head slightly, looked at Pain, and said indifferently, "Desire to kill, I won't have that kind of boring thing. However, I just think this guy is too weak. Maybe, it will delay our future tasks, right? And, obviously, you are also skeptical of his strength, right? Then let me try it out for you, so what?" As soon as the voice fell, Pain was speechless. Of course he believed Konan's words. However, he also really wanted to see with his own eyes what kind of strength this guy who doesn't seem to have much chakra at all has. So, his eyes turned to Konan. Seeing that Konan's face was still calm, he just glanced at Kakuzu and said faintly. Qing Yu, pay attention to proportion. Kakuzu is also an indispensable member of Akatsuki. Don't kill him. After finishing speaking, she didn't look at the faces of the people next to her, but stepped directly to Pen's side and freed the space in between. And as soon as these words came out, Kakuzu on the side suddenly gritted his teeth slightly, and a look of impatience appeared on his face. That woman with purple hair actually thought she would be killed by this kid? Advertisement. It's ridiculous. Hey, kid, you'd better take advantage of it now and take a long time to breathe. Kakuzu stared at Qing Yu in front of him, a sharp look appeared in his eyes, and then suddenly raised his right hand. Unexpectedly, his right arm rushed directly through countless black lines, directly hitting Qing Yu here. He directly attacked. On the other side, Qing Yu, his face was indifferent, after looking at Pen and the others in the distance. He just raised his hands casually, patted directly, put his hands together, and said quietly. 33 of Hado. Kanghuo fall. Boom. The moment the voice fell, a dazzling white light suddenly appeared from before his palms. Immediately after that, the zero rays of light turned into a fierce blue flame, and it drowned towards the Kakuzu ahead. The majestic firelight completely illuminates the entire dim cave, and it seems that even the majestic water droplets have been evaporated. Both the scale and the sense of oppression completely surpassed Kakuzu's attack. So fast, everyone was shocked at the same time. However, at this moment, Konan's expression on the side couldn't help but move. Is this kind of weird spell name again? What kind of secret technique is this? How do I feel that he just needs to put his hands together and call whatever he wants? Chapter 10 Kakuzu who thinks more and gets more angry, fire style head hard, second more, equals. Advertisement Konan would have this doubt, of course, not without reason. In fact, on the way back from the country of wind to Rain Shinobi village, Konan and Qing Yu have encountered some enemies who rushed out inexplicably. At that time, Qing Yu also slapped both hands, and instantly released a spell called, the Fourth of Hado White Thunder. With swift thunder and lightning, all the opponents were subdued. And now, when facing Kakuzu's secret technique attack, Qing Yu also put his hands together and released a fire-style technique that was far more powerful than before. Both speed and power are far better than before, anyway. Can this kind of pale blue flame still be regarded as a fire style? Konan was puzzled. And Pen and Ju too on the side, although they were completely watching the battle, they also felt the weirdness of this technique. Clearly blue as seawater, but with flame-like posture and temperature. On this side, Kakuzu's expression naturally changed. Feeling the powerful heat wave, he certainly didn't dare to be careless, quickly used the body replacement technique, and dodged directly to the other side of the cave. Boom! Kanghuo crashed and hit a stone pillar beside the cave, causing it to shatter. With the dust flying, Kakuzu stabilized his figure and looked over, with a hint of surprise in his heart. Unexpectedly, can such a meager chakra release such an attack? While he was thinking, on this side, Qing Yu, who had just released the attack, suddenly showed a very puzzled expression, looked at Kakuzu ignorantly, and said in an exaggerated tone. It's strange. Mr. Kakuzu, aren't you called, Undead Ninja? Why do you want to hide this kind of weak attack? As soon as the voice fell, the audience was silent. Everyone's eyes moved to Kakuzu's face at the same time. Advertisement The atmosphere was very embarrassing. Kakuzu also twitched the corners of his mouth, his face froze. F***CK. I just have more heart. Okay. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Is it true that you think of me as an absolutely immortal person? What's more, if you don't hide when you encounter an attack, why not be a fool? Kakuzu, who was thinking more and more angry, stared at Qing Yu, and then without a word, he quickly sealed the seal, put his hand in front of his mouth, and said sharply. Kill you. Fire style head hard. As soon as the voice fell, I saw Kakuzu's back suddenly bulge and swell, and then a black line-shaped masked creature suddenly appeared. This is the secret technique of Takigakura village ground resentment. Afterwards, I saw this bit of resentment suddenly opened his mouth and spit out a fiery ball of fire. The moment the fireball touched the ground, it instantly expanded its range, directly igniting a raging fire, almost raising the temperature of the entire cave to more than 10 degrees. The blazing firelight seemed to have life, spreading towards Qing Yu in front of you. And Pen, Konan and others on the side were also affected by the flames at the same time. Everyone's face changed at the same time. I saw an exaggerated exclamation in the mouth of Ju on the side. Oh, it's not good, hurry up. After that, he immediately leapt towards the rear, and immediately used mayfly technique to fuse on the wall. Konan, who was on the side, immediately opened his paper wings, and instantly took Pen with him, and flew to the sky as well. They all know that being affected by this flame is not just for fun. This strange heat wave can be said to have completely surpassed the blue fire that Qing Yu just released. Moreover, its scope is surprisingly wide. This guy unexpectedly released this kind of large-scale fire-style ninjutsu in such a narrow place. There was some displeased look on Pain's face, and at this time. On the ground, Kakuzu looked excited, he didn't care about that much. After capturing the hearts of many fire-style ninjas, this is the current Kakuzu, the most proud fire-style. Advertisement burn everything in front of you with a tsunami of flames. So, boy, you have nowhere to hide, what will you do? Kakuzu stared at Qing Yu ahead, sneered in his heart. And here, Konan and Pain, who were hovered in the air by the paper, also looked at Qing Yu ahead, wanting to see how he would respond. After all, the average ninja doesn't have the power to fly like her. In the face of such flames, there are almost two simplest ways to deal with it. Either avoid it or resist it. And now, in this narrow place of the cave, hiding is no longer possible. Only hard resistance is left, so, how will he resist? Everyone was looking forward to the next development, but then, a picture that made everyone jaw-dropping appeared. Seeing Qing Yu with a faint smile on his face, he leapt slightly to the top of the sky. Then, he stayed directly in the air. He turned out to be stuck in the air. Without using any spells and without any support under his feet, he actually was flying. Everyone present, whether it was Kakuzu or Ju, or Konan Pain, saw this picture as if they were hell. Everyone's eyes widened and their expressions froze. Kakuzu's breathing was completely stopped, his thoughts were instantly interrupted, and his brain was completely short-circuited. At this time, Qing Yu stood high in the sky, looked over from a high altitude, smiled and said, "No way? Do you really think I want to fight fire style?" Chapter 11 Throwing a shuriken 800 miles away can also be called a battle. Third more, equals. Advertisement: gather the souls under your feet to achieve standing in the air. This is almost a breeze for any Shinigami who masters spiritual power. Although Qing Yu is not a serious Shinigami, he still has a good Ryotsu and a powerful Zanpakutō. Therefore, as early as 10 years ago, when he learned Shunpo, he had already practiced this volley technique to the point of perfection. In theory, as long as he has enough spiritual power, he can even sleep in the air. The scene remained silent. Konan and the sky looked at each other with pain, and both saw a hint of disbelief in each other's eyes. How did Qing Yu do it? Is it possible that he also has the same earth-style super light and heavy rock technique as the third Tsuchikage Onoki? No, it's not right. In essence, Oyuki's technique is to reduce its own gravity, so as to achieve the purpose of floating in the air. And the Qing Yu in front of him, although clearly floating in the air, still maintains a standing posture, as if walking on the ground. This weird technique, to a certain extent, completely surpassed Onoji's flight. Aware of this, a few deep rays of light appeared in the eyes of Pen's reincarnation. He began to understand why Konan had such confidence in this boy, and he brought it back directly. In him. There are indeed many possibilities, and at this time. Advertisement Kakuzu above the ground, of course, also reacted. However, compared to Pain and Konan, his mood at this moment is of course very complicated. Read more at mtlarchive.com. He couldn't even think of killing him. After completely banning the ground, this little demon stood up directly in the air. It's just ridiculous. She opened the door, ridiculously home. In this case, it seems I can only use that trick. Call. Kakuzu let out a sigh of relief slowly, condensed his mind, and the next moment his eyes shook. I saw above his right arm, it began to bulge and swell quickly, and then another strange mask with black lines appeared. The second one is resentful, the wind-style mask. Looking at Qing Yu above the sky, Kakuzu hardly hesitated, and quickly raised his hand to complete the seal at a rapid speed. Afterwards, he said solemnly, "Originally, I didn't intend to use this technique in such a small area. But, if that's not the case, even someone who has fought first Hokage in the past will be looked down upon by you, kid. Hey." Composite ninja flame wind turbulent waves, boom. As soon as the voice fell, the two grievances behind Kakuzu opened their mouths at the same time, and the violent chakra began to agglomerate quickly, and then, a wind bomb and a fireball, mixed and rushed out at the same time. As we all know, wind style can strengthen the power of fire style. Therefore, the already powerful flame crit, under the blessing of wind style, instantly turned into a sea of flames, and went directly towards Qing Yu in the air in front of him and vanished. Advertisement: countless flames completely shrouded the front of the cave. Even in the air, there is no place to hide. The entire cave almost instantly turned into a monstrous sea of fire. In front of Kakuzu, every inch of land and walls, without exception, was directly swallowed by fiery flames. Boom! In an instant, in the high air ahead, Qing Yu's figure was completely annihilated by the flames of the riot. Seeing this picture, under Kakuzu's mask, his mouth grinned. Humph! After all, it's only this level? However, his voice just fell. Suddenly, behind him, a faint voice appeared. "Oh, the shuriken thrown 800 miles away is only about the level of throwing a shuriken. Can it also be called a battle?" Hado number 63 Fiery Lightning Hell. Boom! A burst of golden thunder and lightning suddenly appeared, just like a new sun. It was so dazzling that it was hard to see. But then, it turned into a fierce golden lightning laser cannon, directly smashing the two grievance masks behind Kakuzu. Chapter 12 Who is a serious ninja? Are you nodded? Fourth, equals. Advertisement boom. There was a loud crash. The golden thunder and lightning bombarded the two masks of resentment, and even Kakuzu's body was directly knocked out. Hit hard on the side wall of the cave, deeply sunken in. In the next moment, the grievances of these two masks began to break away from Kakuzu's body quickly, turned into black lines, fell to the ground, and died on the spot. Feeling the pain in his body, Kakuzu's breathing suddenly stagnated. He lifted his face in disbelief, and looked at Qing Yu in front of him with horror in his heart. What happened? When did it appear behind me? I just noticed clearly that his figure was drowned in my flames. Could it be illusion? Aware of this, Kakuzu's face instantly became more ugly, looking at Qing Yu, gritted his teeth, and said unwillingly. Hey, you guy. Even so, hid you hide so many hole cards? He didn't expect it anyway, a person whose chakra breath is as weak as a child can hide so many weird spells after just a few rounds of fights. First, there was a blue flame, which was quickly released with a single stroke of both hands, and then, there was another weird ability that stood in the air. And now, there is one more weird illusion, and the amazingly powerful golden lightning style. This guy, is it a rare bearer of the blood succession boundary? This is a bit too scary. Compared to this, what makes Kakuzu feel even more scared is that if he just exposed all 5 masks. So maybe it's a dead body now. Thinking of this, Kakuzu felt a faint chill behind his back. He stared at Qing Yu's eyes and slowly took a breath. After just this short battle, he was basically certain. This guy named Qing Yu is a proper monster. Moreover, his full strength is very likely not weaker than that of Pen. Thinking of this, advertisement a haze flashed through Kakuzu's eyes. It seems that we are going to collect new fire style and wind style ninja hearts again. And at this moment, the flames in the cave began to extinguish. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Konan and Pain returned to the ground, and even the Jew, who had just gotten into the wall, returned to the ground. Yeah, it's terrible. The 2 newcomers did not expect to have such terrifying strength. There was a weird sound in Ju's mouth. On the other hand, Konan looked at Kakuzu calmly, indifferently. Kakuzu, this is the end of the matter. There is no need to fight anymore. You probably already believe in his strength, right? As soon as the voice fell, Kakuzu made a soft chi sound in his mouth. Then he stood up slowly, without saying anything, and walked directly outside the entrance of the cave. Now he only has 3 hearts left. In order to maintain his immortality and peak strength, of course he has to find a way to get 2 more hearts. As for Qing Yu, in a short time, he didn't want to fight this kind of guy anymore. As Kakuzu goes away, only then did Pen slowly turn his head and look at Qing Yu, his eyes calm, and he said indifferently. Good. I recognize your strength, a person named Qing Yu. Akatsuki's goal is true peace in the ninja world, and Akatsuki will dominate the world instead of the 5 powers. For this, we have gathered outstanding ninjas, regardless of their origin and experience. So now, people who are displaced, you are welcome to join Akatsuki. As the words fell, a purple ring suddenly appeared in Pain's hands, with an ink-colored jade on it. He stretched out his hand and threw the ring over, saying faintly, "From today, this is your ring, representing your official membership in Akatsuki Zhang. Next, I will definitely take you to our residence area. You can freely choose the location of your residence in Rain Shinobi Village." Snapped. Advertisement Qing Yu raised his hand and grasped it. Not surprisingly, it turned out to be the same jade ring as Sasori in the original book. But at this moment, Jews on the side walked over, let out a weird laugh, and said, "Let's go, newcomer." However, just when Qing Yu was about to step up and turn around to leave. Suddenly, Pain made a noise again behind him, and many more. Huh? Qing Yu turned around and said in amazement, "Are there any orders?" No, Pain shook his head slightly, indifferently. "I'm just curious about your power. Why in the previous match, all the techniques you showed were able to be released with a single seal, or even without a seal?" When the voice fell, Qing Yu raised his eyebrows slightly and said with a light smile. "Who is the solemn ninja? Are you nodding? A technique that can only be released by Jian, can you still beat people?" Qing Yu sneered. Afterwards, regardless of their reaction, they turned around and wandered away. Only the 2 people who froze in place in the cave were left. Pain and Konan looked at each other. "Konan, when you usually fight with paper to escape, do you key in?" No not. Do you get a seal when you use Rinnegan?" "No, Why does TM seem to be somewhat reasonable?" Chapter 13. At the beginning of Diwa, Qing Yu had a mysterious pupil technique. 5th ===. Advertisement inside the cave. The 2 were silent for a long time. It was not until a moment later that Pain slowly spoke. "Konan. This person named Qing Yu. You have been in contact with him for the longest time. Is there any information available?" For those who joined Akatsuki's organization, as the leader, Pain naturally needs to know enough. Therefore, as soon as Qing Yu left, he immediately began to inquire about information. After all, during the battle just now, the power that Qing Yu revealed was too mysterious. Even a man who has experienced many battles was unheard of. First is the blue fire style, then the floating technique like walking on the ground, and finally, another body replacement technique that is as weird as an illusion technique, and a golden lightning style with amazing destructive power. Either way, if it comes out alone, it may be a very mysterious existence. But now, these 4 mysterious things are all concentrated on the same person at this moment. No matter how you think, it is a bit shocking, however. Hearing what Pain said, Konan shook his head and said quietly. "There is very little information about him, but at the moment, what I can basically be sure of is, his eyes should be a bit strange." Pain's expression moved slightly, and he repeated, "Eyes?" "Yes." Konan nodded, looked at Pain, and said calmly. "I watched it carefully. Advertisement. Every time he uses those weird spells, there seems to be some peculiar splendor in his golden pupils. So I suspect that the reason why he controls so many completely different powers is likely to be related to these golden pupils. In other words, it's very possible that he has some kind of mysterious pupil technique that we haven't involved in. Read more at mtlarchive.com. It's like, Nagato, your eyes. At the end, Konan almost stared at Pain's eyes and spoke word by word, very seriously. After the voice fell, Nagato, who was manipulating Pain behind his back, was shocked. Similar to my eyes? Nagato couldn't help but recall the past. His Rinnegan was awakened during the Second Ninja World War. At the time of the war, 2 ninjas from Konoha village broke into his home and killed his parents. The scared Nagato, unconsciously, opened his eyes and killed the 2 intruders. After many years, Nagato slowly discovered that his eyes possessed various peculiar abilities, corresponding to the 6 realms of reincarnation. This was the emergence of the current 6 ways of pain. Could it be that the boy named Qing Yu also awakened some kind of pupil technique similar to Rinnegan after experiencing some kind of pain? Thinking of this, Nagato couldn't help thinking, if you really understand the fight just now according to the pupil technique, then, this Qing Yu's various non-printing techniques seems to be well understood. After all, the use of pupil surgery itself does not require Jujin. Just as Nagato was halfway thinking about it, suddenly Konan spoke again. Nagato. Actually, I think the most important thing to pay attention to is not his mysterious pupil technique. It's the power he hides the knife. Knife? Nagato recovered. Advertisement. Konan nodded and continued, perhaps you ignored it unconsciously. Actually, during his game against Kakuzu just now, he didn't draw his sword from beginning to end. However, in the Kingdom of Wind, I have witnessed it with my own eyes. While drawing his sword, he instantly killed Sasori of the Red Sand, who was controlling the Third Kazekage puppet. It can be seen that this kind of power with terrifying speed and destructive power may be his real trump card. The reason why he didn't draw his sword, perhaps, was because he didn't want to kill Kakuzu. Konan said calmly. After the voice fell, Pain fell into silence. Only then did he fully understand why Konan had spoken to Qing Yu carefully before the war. This man who controls the mysterious ninja and the mysterious pupil technique is far more terrifying than it looks. After a long time, Pain slowly said, for the time being, continue to observe. After that man comes back, continue to discuss the details. It is good. Konan nodded slightly. Of course he knew that the man in Pain's mouth was the one behind Akatsuki. Mysterious masked man, a man calling himself Uchiha Madara. Chapter 14. Good guy, leave him here to learn about experience? 6th more, ===. Advertisement at the same time on the other side. After leaving the cave, Qing Yu, led by Ju, directly chose a house that suits him in Rain Shinobi Village. As the headquarters of Akatsuki, Rain Shinobi Village is of course a place they want to visit frequently. Therefore, it makes sense to allocate houses to members. As for Qing Yu, who has lived in the system secrets for 10 years, changing to a decent place, he can just enjoy it. Afterwards, he directly found a reason and drove away the leader who led the way. Call. Qing Yu lay on the soft cup of tatami mat, and for the first time he felt like he had come back to life again. Sure enough, this kind of comfort is impossible to feel in the secret realm of the system. Qing Yu sighed with a smile on his face. Suddenly, the virtual panel of the system pops up directly, and then, I can only hear a series of prompt sounds in my mind. Ding, congratulations to host, the side mission has been completed. Defeat the undead ninja Kakuzu. 1/1, completed, rewards. Shunpo experience plus 200. Kido experience plus 500. Ryatsu plus 1000. A total of 3 movie-level powerhouses, 2/3, have been defeated. Unfinished, the reward is unknown. Hear this tone. An unexpected smile suddenly appeared on Qing Yu's face. Advertisement. When he faced Kakuzu's provocation in the cave before, the reason why he chose to challenge was of course not because he was full. Read more at mtlarchive.com. It is completely to complete this side task. Sure enough, as expected, the system also rewarded Shunpo and Kido's experience, as well as the usual Ryatsu rewards, just like defeating Sasori of Akasa at that time. However, it seems that because he used 2 Kido in this battle, this time, the rewards of Kido experience are more than last time. That is to say, as long as you use a certain skill in battle, can you get the corresponding experience reward? Qing Yu quickly noticed the law. It seems that in the future, you can use 4 skills such as Zanshuan and Devil in the battle to reasonably gain experience and improve your strength. While Qing Yu was thinking about it, suddenly, the system panel popped up again, and then a series of prompt sounds popped out. The new side mission has been triggered. Smash Kakuzu's Grievous Mask Fire Style, 1/1, completed. Reward. Ryatsu plus 1000. Smash Kakuzu's Grievous Mask Wind Style, 1/1, completed. Reward. Ryatsu plus 1000. Smash the Kakuzu's Grievance Mask Water Style, 0/1, unfinished, unknown reward. Smashed Kakuzu's Earth Grievance Mask Earth Style, 0/1, unfinished, unknown reward. Smash Kakuzu's Grievous Mask Lightning Style, 0/1, unfinished, unknown reward. Smashed Kakuzu's 5 Attribute Grievance Mask in total, 2/5, incomplete, and the reward is unknown. A series of beeps fell. Advertisement. Qing Yu was taken aback for a moment. Damn it. Good guy. Smashing Kakuzu's Mask of Grievances, his mother can count as a side mission. There is one more wicked one, is actually TM smashed 5 in total? Kakuzu has 5 hearts in total, right? The co-authoring system wants me to kill him directly? Don't I become a second to 5 son? Looking at these rows of tasks on the system panel, Qing Yu just felt dumbfounded. He didn't expect that this Kakuzu was transformed into a system side mission experience tool. He was originally Akatsuki's toolman, and he was the only wage earner in the entire organization who was earnestly making money. It's better now, it has become a copy of experience directly. Chapter 15 Akatsuki's Uniform. Undressing must die. One more, ===. Advertisement at dusk. Qing Yu welcomed the first guest in the new house in Rain Shinobi Village. Konan. She also carried a bag in her hand. The moment she walked in, she passed the bag over without saying a word. Qing Yu couldn't figure it out at all, and while taking the bag over, he said in astonishment. What's this? Konan looked at him calmly and said lightly. Akatsuki's uniform. After putting it on, you will officially become a member of the organization. In any future actions, you must wear this uniform to show the power of Akatsuki to the ninja world. Konan's tone was very calm. Obviously, this seems to be an iron rule set long ago. However, after hearing this, Qing Yu's eyebrows jumped suddenly. Damn it! Akatsuki's red cloud and black robe uniform is here. In the legend, there is a uniform that cursed, you must die if you take off your clothes? Qing Yu looked strange, looked at Konan with a serious face, smiled reluctantly and said, can I not wear it? No, Konan's tone was indifferent, and he refused with one bite. After that, he just turned around and walked towards the door while walking indifferently. You may have a mission in these 2 days, so be prepared. Advertisement. After speaking, she turned directly into paper in the sky and disappeared. Qing Yu smiled bitterly and shook his head, opened the bag in his hand, and a set of red clouds and black robe uniforms were neatly placed inside. However, unexpectedly, there is still a bottle of nail polish. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Huh? Nail polish? Qing Yu took it out of the bag, under the light, showing a faint cyan color. Qing Yu, who was originally a little surprised, suddenly, there was a pause in my heart. Only then did he remember that in the original work, it seems that every member of Gen Akatsuki has painted nail polishes of different colors. What's this? Collective performance art? Qing Yu shook his head helplessly and threw it aside. After that, he picked up his clothes, but the moment he picked up the red cloud and black robe, the system prompt sound suddenly appeared. Ding! It is detected that the host has obtained Akatsuki's uniform, X1. Do you choose to merge with the host's Deadmaster? After the fusion, the uniform of Akatsuki will inherit all the capabilities of the Death Tyrant outfit. Damn it! Is there such a good thing? After hearing this series of prompt sounds, Qing Yu's eyes suddenly lit up. Originally, he was still worried that after wearing Akatsuki's uniform, he would lose the ability of his Death Tyrant, but he didn't expect that the two would be able to fuse. You know, Death Tyrant dress is not as simple as ordinary clothes. 10 years ago, when Qing Yu acquired the basics of Ryatsu and Zanpakutō, a black Death Tyrant appeared directly, covering his whole body. And according to the introduction of the system, the essence of the Death Tyrant, like Zanpakutō, also belongs to the special manifestation of Shinigami Ryatsu. In a nutshell, the higher the Ryatsu, the higher the defense power displayed by the Death Tyrant. Advertisement. This feature alone is much stronger than Akatsuki's ordinary Hongyun and black robe uniform. Therefore, Qing Yu hardly had any hesitation. System, integration. When the voice fell, I saw Qing Yu's hand, the red cloud and black robe disappeared instantly. The next moment, Qing Yu's whole body, the white light began to emerge. Ding! Congratulations host. You have obtained a brand new item, Deathmaster outfit, Akatsuki.vir. This item will perfectly inherit the appearance of Akatsuki's uniform, as well as all the abilities and characteristics of the Deathmaster outfit. The beep fell and the light dissipated. Qing Yu's body had already changed from wearing black clothes to a set of Akatsuki Hongyun and black robe uniforms. As the system said, its appearance is almost the same as other people's red clouds and black robes. However, only Qing Yu knows that its characteristics are not comparable to ordinary clothes. The needle doesn't poke. Now, I suddenly feel that I am far from the curse of undressing and dying, hee. Feeling the changes brought about by the new clothes, Qing Yu showed a very satisfied smile. At this time, the system prompt sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to host, the side mission has been completed. Put on Akatsuki's red cloud and black robe uniform. 1/1, completed, reward, Ryatsu plus 1000. Your Ryatsu has successfully broken through to LV.4 and has been promoted to the intermediate level. X reward. 90 of Hado Black Coffin, Chapter 16 Ryatsu who interferes with reality, the Masked Man returns. 2 more, ===. Advertisement. Ryatsu has been promoted to a new level. When the system sound fell, Qing Yu's eyes suddenly lit up. This reminder of Ryatsu's promotion, he hasn't heard it for years. And now, in just a short day of leaving the secret realm, he has successfully pulled it up through the rewards of these side quests. This is how much accumulation is achieved. With a faint smile on his face, Qing Yu raised his hand, and a trace of Ryatsu emerged from his palm. It can be clearly seen that whether it is the solidity of spiritual power or the sense of oppression, it far exceeds the previous level. And when Qing Yu tried to concentrate this Ryatsu on the flowerpot in front. Bang! When the flowerpot was covered by Ryatsu, it seemed to be hit by an invisible powerful force and exploded in an instant. While the dust was flying, the bunch of flowers had already turned into debris. As expected, now Ryatsu, as expected, can begin to interfere in the real world. The smile on Qing Yu's face grew stronger. The benefits of improving Ryatsu are almost obvious. It seems that we can't slack off the side tasks in the future either. Qing Yu smiled and said to himself, advertisement. Even Ryotsu, who is now at the middle level, has this power. Read more at mtlarchive.com. He believes that as long as he completes enough tasks, he will be able to reach the level of invincibility with Ryotsu in the future. After a while, Qing Yu's attention returned to the system panel. X reward. 90 of Hado Black Coffin, among Shinigami, Aizen Sosuke's famous skill, Hado, the 90th highest rank. When it was released, the opponent was trapped in a huge black cube, and in an instant, countless shadow blades emerge, attacking with thousands of Ryotsu swords that flowed in gravity. Like this kind of high Hado, it means extremely destructive power and extremely difficult to release. However, for Qing Yu, who possesses the excellent Kido level, he can fully grasp his chanting mantra the moment he learns it. And, without any additional conditions, you can easily complete the release in the posture of discarding the chant. Although abandoning the chant, it will lose part of its power. However, the advantage is that it is fast. If Kido reaches the extreme level, I don't know if the broken chant will have the power of a complete chant. Qing Yu thought so in his heart, but at least it is impossible to know now. Moreover, although this kind of high-position Hado is powerful, it consumes a lot of spiritual power. Under normal circumstances, it is natural that it will not be used at will. 2 days later. Advertisement in Rain Shinobi Village, in a cave, in a secret meeting room. 3 seats present a triangular posture, standing on 3 sides of the conference room, and on each seat, there is a person sitting. The one on the left, wearing a red cloud and black robe, with blue-purple hair and an iris flower on his head, is the white tiger of Akatsuki, Konan. And the one on the right, also wearing a red cloud and black robe, a pair of light purple Rinnegan, exudes a faint light in the dark, Akatsuki's leader, Pain. The weird thing is that the person sitting in the middle position is not wearing Akatsuki's uniform. Instead, he wore a black robe, covered with a dark green scarf on his shoulders, and he also wore an orange Uzumaki mask on his face, making it difficult to see his appearance. Only one right eye gleaming with blood-red light was revealed. It is the leader behind Akatsuki, one of the 3 major actors in the Akatsuki organization, the Masked Man. At this moment, he cocked Erlang's legs, dragged his chin with one hand, and said in a low voice. About the killing of Sasori of Red Sand by the guy named Qing Yu, I already know from your biography. Then, let's talk about it. What information do you have about this guy who suddenly appeared? Chapter 17, the first task. Hunting the snake pill. 3 more, ===. Advertisement, the Masked Man said solemnly. At the moment, his mood is not very good. You know, when planning Akatsuki's members to choose, he took a lot of thought. In addition, he also specifically emphasized to Pain, saying that Sand Shinobi's Sasori of the Rebel Red Sand has undoubtedly shadow-level strength. With the power of his puppet, maybe it will be a powerful talent capable of destroying a small country in the future. The results of it, he had just been out for a few days, and suddenly he received a letter from Konan. And the content inside actually said that Sasori of the Red Sand was killed by a young man with a knife. Spike. Is there a mistake? What's even more outrageous is that the boy who killed Sasori has now become an official member of Akatsuki directly. Without the advice of Akatsuki's behind-the-scenes boss, Pain and Konan gave him the uniform and ring without authorization. For these, the Masked Man is naturally a little unhappy. However, the apparent leader of Akatsuki's organization is still Pain, and he does have the power to decide members. Of course, the Masked Man wouldn't be arguing with him on such matters. Only, the Masked Man cannot trust someone who doesn't know anything about him. In Akatsuki, whether it is Nagato Konan, Kakuzu and Sasori, or Uchiha Itachi and others who he intends to recruit in later, the Masked Men have the confidence to manipulate them. Only this newcomer who appeared suddenly, Qing Yu, was an unexpected existence. Moreover, it is still a super shadow level existence. This is very difficult. Advertisement. That's why he came back deliberately to discuss the matter in person. For the future project Tasuki no Mi, he did not allow Akatsuki to have any situation beyond his control. After hearing the words of the Masked Man, Pain and Konan looked at each other before speaking indifferently. Sad face. Read more at mtlarchive.com. From his mouth, we did not hear useful information. I only know that he, like us, is a victim and a displaced person in the war in the ninja world. Furthermore, at present, we have a rough preliminary judgment about the ability he controls. Oh. The Masked Man narrowed his eyes slightly. After a slight pause, Pain continued. The short sword on his waist may be some kind of mysterious endurance. It has the characteristics of stretching and retracting at the same time. The length can be adjusted freely, and the speed is extremely fast and the destructive power is very strong. According to Konan's witness, at that time, he used this ninja to kill Sasori of the Red Sand in the Kingdom of Wind. Hearing this, the Masked Man was silent and nodded slightly. It's not surprising to have such a miraculous ninja, but he doesn't care. After all, with his Mangekyo Sharingan, Kamui, ability, he is not afraid of any physical weapons at all. And then, Pain continued to say indifferently, his second ability is to freely release a variety of peculiar spells without seals, such as the Pale Fire style, the Golden Lightning style, and the floating technique like walking on the ground. According to our observations, every time he uses these spells, there seems to be some splendor in his pupils. So we think, he is very likely to have some kind of mysterious pupil technique that we don't know, that is, his golden pupils that are different from ordinary people. Sane Sakura download, mini program. Of course, these are just our inferences and have not been confirmed. Pain finished orderly. These contents were summed up after serious discussions between him and Konan. And at this time, advertisement after hearing these words, the masked man suddenly flashed a deep strange light in his eyes, muttering to himself in a deep voice. So it is, a mysterious pupil technique with golden pupils? It seems that the situation is much more complicated than I thought. At this moment, under the orange mask, Brother Two's expression became serious for the first time, even a little ugly. He didn't expect that there might still be an unknown pupil technique appearing. After a long silence, he raised his head again, and after scanning the faces of Pain and Konan, he slowly said in a low voice. About this guy, there are too many weird places, and we need to observe them slowly. It just so happens that I happen to have a task here, it's better to let him complete it. In this mission, I will personally observe him as Akatsuki's intern, I will go with him. When the words were over, Konan's gaze suddenly moved slightly and asked. What task? The masked man slowly stood up from the chair, and in the darkness, the blood-red Sharingan shone with a coquettish light. After a while, he slowly said, hunting the man who was once one of Konoha Hasanin. Orochimaru. Chapter 18 Intimacy in Heaven. The gentleman is not interested, for more, ===. Advertisement hunting Orochimaru. After hearing the words of the masked man, Konan and Pain looked at each other, and both saw the doubt in each other's eyes. They don't understand at all why he suddenly proposed such a task. However, the masked man seemed to see through their doubts and explained directly and differently. After receiving your letter, I once went to the Land of Wind, where I had a conversation with a Sasori's subordinate. From his intelligence, I learned that Konoha's rebel Orochimaru seems to be investigating Akatsuki's situation. Having said this, the masked man paused slightly, narrowed his eyes, and said. However, the Orochimaru I know is a very suspicious person, and should not have grasped his information so easily. That is to say, he probably deliberately revealed his whereabouts and has other plans. If this is the case, then we will count it. Let me also take a good look, Qing Yu, the controller of the mysterious pupil technique, and the insidious Orochimaru, who will win. While talking, the masked man stood up. His figure unexpectedly began to disappear into the air like Uzumaki, leaving only an indifferent word. Convey the order to him. I will meet Akatsuki as an intern, a fei. The voice fell, his figure has completely entered the Uzumaki in front of his right eye and completely disappeared. And at this time, the other side of Rain Shinobi Village. In Qing Yu's residence, he is sitting in front of the window sill, flipping through a book. The name of the book is very simple, The Legend of Strong Perseverance Ninja. Advertisement however, the author is not simple. One of the famous Konoha 3 ninjas, the hero ninja known as Toad Sage, Jiraiya. Half a day later, read more at mtlarchive.com. Qing Yu finally finished reading all of them, closed the book, and let out a sigh of relief. Although the content is positive, but it seems to be a little less entertaining, no wonder it has fallen to the point of slow sales. Qing Yu smiled helplessly and shook his head. If it weren't for completing the side tasks assigned by the system, he might not be able to stand it at all. Ding, congratulations to host, the side mission is completed. Collect a Jiraiya's novel, Strong Perseverance Ninja Biography. 1/1, completed, reward. Ryatsu plus 500. Completely read Jiraiya's novel, Strong Perseverance Ninja Story. 1/1, completed, reward. Ryatsu plus 1000. Promote Jiraiya's novel, Strong Perseverance Ninja. 0/5. To any 5 ninjas of movie rank or above, unfinished, unknown reward. While listening to the series of voices, Qing Yu immediately felt the faint growth change of Ryatsu in his body, showing a satisfied smile. It's not worth reading, however, the truth of this last task is a bit difficult. Qing Yu reluctantly turned off the system panel. Want me to sell this book to any 5 strong guys that are above the shadow level? I'm afraid it will be regarded as a neurosis. Oh, it's a pity that you can't buy Intimate Paradise at Rain Shinobi Village's bookstore. It seems that I can only buy it outside. Qing Yu sighed lightly. Certainly, he is just to complete side tasks. As for the content of the book? How could he be interested in a certain gentleman Shang Jengren? Advertisement after all, a certain Kazi brother of Konoha, just because Tenten read this book, he disregarded himself alive, and once he used chakra, his kidneys were overdrawn. Hey, newcomer. When Qing Yu was thinking, suddenly, a voice rang from the ground. Afterwards, a pitcher plant-like creature stuck out its half-black and half-white head from the ground, and said in a low voice. You have a mission. Boss Pain wants you to gather at the base now. When the voice fell, Qing Yu's gaze suddenly moved, however, before he could ask a question, he definitely slipped away. The first mission, did it come so soon? Qing Yu stood up, a faint smile appeared on his face. It's okay to go out to do tasks, maybe you can buy other works of Jiraiya in other countries. After a while, Qing Yu once again came to the familiar cave meeting room. However, the moment he entered, Qing Yu's expression was suddenly startled. The unexpected happened. In the cave, besides Pain and Konan, there was a man who was not wearing Akatsuki's uniform. He was wearing an orange Uzumaki mask, and his right eye seemed to plunge into darkness. This dress is. Chapter 19 Intern Alfie, Brother Tuzi, the actor, 5 more, ===. Advertisement Qing Yu was stunned for an instant. He didn't expect to see him appear in advance at this time. Mysterious Masked Man, the behind-the-scenes manipulator of Akatsuki. When Qing Yu saw him, the masked man naturally found Qing Yu immediately. However, the next moment,
He immediately jumped up high and rushed directly to Qing Yu's side, while quickly screaming at the onlookers around Qing Yu, while yelling very funny.
Wow. Is this senior Qing Yu who killed Sasori of Red Sand?
I didn't expect to be so young. Damn it, I am so envious that I can become a full member at such a young age.
He was dancing and screaming, making it very noisy. However, in the distance, Pain and Konan, who had witnessed this scene, were still indifferent, as if they had become accustomed to them. After a while, Pain looked at Qing Yu and said indifferently. Are you here, Qing Yu? Let's introduce it for now. His name is Afei. He is Akatsuki's intern. At the same time, he is also your temporary partner for this mission. He will assist you to successfully complete this task. Hearing this, Qing Yu raised his eyebrows, realized something was wrong, and deliberately said, What's the situation? Find an intern to partner with me. The voice fell, the masked male Afei on the side seemed to be collapsed, and then he clenched his fists, seemingly unwilling to say. Wow. Senior Qing Yu, don't say that to me. Although I am only an intern now, I will definitely become a full member in the future. I am very strong. Advertisement. Speaking of the end, the masked man Afei also made a motion of waving kunai. The poser seems to be performing in situ. Seeing his exaggerated performance, Qing Yu's expression not only has no fluctuations, but even has a hint of wanting to laugh. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Appearance can be deceptive. Chakra breath can be deceiving. However, Ryatsu will not deceive. In front of Qing Yu, who has strong Ryatsu perception, he can clearly perceive that under this orange mask, there are two souls at the same time. Although one of the souls seems to exist in a dependent manner, with a very weak breath, it still cannot escape Qing Yu's perception. Therefore, he can basically be sure, at this moment, under this mask is not white Zetsu, fly, or Obito. It's a combination of the two of them. In other words, now, it is very likely that two people share the same body and the same identity. Hooligan. Realizing this, Qing Yu's heart couldn't help but move slightly. This Uchiha Obito would choose to appear in front of me in this state. Will he go on missions with me? It seems that he wants to take the opportunity of this mission to personally monitor and collect information on me. In a short moment, Qing Yu immediately judged the situation. At this time, Pain also continued to speak, explaining. This time the mission is a little bit special. The opponent you have to deal with is one of the Konoha Sannin, or Ichimaru, who was once famous in the ninja world. In the face of a scheming person like him, of course you can't go alone. Alfie has an intelligence position in his hands. You just need to follow him to find Orochimaru. Advertisement. If you can, it's best to figure out why he inquired about Akatsuki's intelligence and his true purpose. As for how to deal with him, it's up to you and Afei to judge on the spot. Pain finished in one breath without emotion. Afterwards, without waiting for Qing Yu to react, he turned around indifferently and said lightly. Let's go, Konan. The next thing is left to the two of them to complete. Yes. Konan lowered his eyes slightly, took a deep look at Qing Yu, and then followed Pen and left the stone cave meeting room. Finally, in the entire cave, only Qing Yu and the masked male Afei were left. On this side, after listening to the task, Qing Yu couldn't help feeling a little headache. It's okay for him to deal with Orochimaru. After all, Qing Yu happens to have a task that needs to defeat 3 shadow-level powerhouses, and just takes advantage of this opportunity to complete it. The point is, there is still such a funny actor with him around him, Just as Qing Yu was thinking about how to deal with it. Suddenly, I saw the masked man Afei sneaking up to Qing Yu's side, seeming to be very mysterious, lowered his voice, and asked cautiously. Nah, Senior Qing Yu, I heard Master Pain say. In addition to this knife, you seem to have a very magical pupil technique that can release all kinds of powerful spells without seal? Is that true? Chapter 20. So I have pupil surgery? Understood? 6 more, equals. Advertisement. Is that true? The masked man Afei asked in a low voice. There seemed to be a hint of excitement in his tone. However, what he didn't know was that when he finished asking this question, Qing Yu on the side was suddenly stupid. What the hell? Wait, did I hear something wrong?
Pain even told Obito, do I have pupil skills?
Where is this rumor? Qing Yu's eyelids suddenly twitched, but still pretending to calmly looked at the masked male Afei, frowned, and said indifferently. Did Pen tell you this? Say it. Hearing that, the masked man Afei clenched his fists excitedly, jokingly and authentically. The leader also said, Senpai, you only used pupil skills at the time, and you easily defeated the immortal ninja, Senior Kakuzu. There are not only blue flames, but also golden thunder and lightning, and volleys that can walk on the ground.
In the whole battle, I didn't even draw the knife. It was so handsome.
The masked man, Afei, is performing hard. There seem to be many small stars beside him. And at this time, after listening to these words, Qing Yu. At first, she was slightly startled, and then she felt happy in her heart. Advertisement. This is also okay. Although his expression didn't move, the corners of his mouth had already begun to rise uncontrollably, and he wanted to laugh wildly. At this moment, Afei, the masked man on the side, seemed to have noticed something wrong with his expression, scratched his head in surprise, and asked sad face. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Senior, what are you laughing at? I think of happy things.
What's so happy? Ahem. Qing Yu coughed, suppressing the smile on his face.
He didn't expect that when he was dealing with Kakuzu, the Kido that he used to sing abandoned chants would be regarded as pupil skills. But after thinking about it carefully, he also instantly understood. At that time, he and Konan came to Rain Shinobi village from the Kingdom of Wind.
Just habitually cover his Reiatsu in front of his eyes to prevent illusion and visual attacks.
Of course, the main purpose is to guard against Sharingan. Because of this, every time he uses his own spiritual power, Reiatsu in front of his eyes will inevitably show some fluctuations, similar to a splendid color. It may be for this reason that Pen and Konan, who were watching the game at the time, mistakenly thought it was a pupil technique. What a coincidence. Thinking of this, an interesting idea suddenly emerged in Qing Yu's heart. Humph. Since you said I have pupil surgery, then I'll be the actor and show it to you. Thinking of this, Qing Yu suddenly deliberately sank his face, looked at Fei, looked very serious, and said in a low voice. Listen, intern, ADVERTISEMENT. My blood succession limit eye technique, Evil King True Eye, has always been a secret. If you dare to speak out, I will kill you first. Understand? Speaking of the last, Qing Yu suddenly turned into a low shout. At the same time, he instantly controlled Reiatsu to cover his eyes, and a golden Reiatsu streamer suddenly appeared. It was like a burning golden pupil. In the next moment, he immediately released Reiatsu without a trace, and directly pressed down on the body of the masked male Fei. Boom! An invisible huge force suddenly fell from the sky, directly pressing on the masked man's body. Under his feet, the land collapsed 3 inches in an instant. When feeling this strange gravity, under the mask of the masked man, a look of horror suddenly appeared, which was extremely shocking. Damn it, what's the situation? This guy actually has pupil skills? This moment, Brother Tuzi was completely stupid. Chapter 21. The acting is on. The first contest between the movie emperors. One more, equals. Advertisement True Eyes of the Evil King. How come I have never heard of it? However, it turns out that these golden pupils, apart from releasing the upgraded fire style and lightning style, still have the power to control gravity. Damn it. I underestimated him completely. Obito under the mask gritted his teeth and thought quickly while feeling the invisible gravity from his body. It wasn't until a moment later that he decided to admit it for the time being and continued to observe the wave. After all, someone once said it. All arts in the world have weaknesses. As long as the weakness is found, there is no way to crack it. What's more, Obito thinks he is his own, Kamui, so there is no need to be afraid. So, after a while, the masked male intern, Fei, once again resumed his humorous attributes, pretending to be very hurriedly speaking. Wow. Seniors, keep your hands. I know it's wrong. I will never reveal your secret, senior. Please trust me. The masked man Fei begged for mercy very hard. Hearing these words, Qing Yu showed a smile in his heart, and his expression was a little relieved. Then with a thought, he withdrew Reiatsu, his face pretending to be indifferent and authentic. It's good to know. Then, lead the way, let's go. Since this is my first mission, I will hurry and complete it. Yes, senior. The masked man Fei immediately showed a very respectful attitude. After yelling, he took Qing Yu and walked outside. The two marched in tandem. The intern, who was still noisy just now, suddenly became quiet unexpectedly. He seemed to be thinking about something without saying a word. Of course, Qing Yu would not take the initiative to talk to him. As a result, the two of them, as temporary partners, have kept a weird silence. But actually, advertisement of course the two had their own thoughts. The masked man walking in front is trying his best to think about Qing Yu's weakness in pupil skills. Qing Yu, who was walking behind, had the same complexion, but also chuckled in his heart. In fact, with his current level of Reiatsu, under the condition of accumulating power, he can only crush the ground by 3 inches at most. However, in order to shock Obito, it was necessary just now. Read more at mtlarchive.com. I'm afraid, starting today, Obito will completely believe that he really has pupil skills. This first contest between the movie emperors, Qing Yu, basically won. In fact, perhaps even Qing Yu himself couldn't think of it. This accidental act of him would make him years later with a brand new title in the ninja world, Akatsuki's Eternal Burning Hitomi Master. 2 days later, Qing Yu followed Obito's footsteps and came to the location in the intelligence. This is the territory of the Land of Fire, in a forest surrounded by deep valleys. At this time, Qing Yu and the masked male Fei stood on a towering giant tree, looking down below. Senior, according to the information in our hands, the guy named Orochimaru passes by here every day. We just have to wait. Moreover, your powerful true eyes of the evil king, senior, must be sure to take him directly. Huh? After 2 days of contact, the masked man Fei became as noisy and talkative again as before. It seemed as if a machine gun was tethered in his mouth, and he didn't break it much along the way, and Qing Yu's ears were calloused from the noise. Moreover, the mouth is often, non-stop like an old 2-dimensional element. Shut up, Alfie. Advertisement. Qing Yu glanced at him, then turned his gaze down, and said indifferently.
Don't you feel it? Someone is already near here.
Upon hearing this, the masked man Fei suddenly uttered a very surprised voice, and then quickly covered his mouth, pretending to look around looking for it. And in the next moment, the figure of a man with long black hair broke into the field of vision below the two in an instant. It is the goal of this mission Orochimaru. The moment I saw him. The masked man Fei immediately became excited, lowered his voice, and exclaimed. Wow, senior, it's Orochimaru, our goal has appeared. Do you act now? However, before his voice could fall, Qing Yu was naturally prepared. He just raised his hand in a hurry, stretched out his index finger, and pointed at the bottom. Jiu Jing Wubo said. Bakudo. 61-6 Rod Light Prison. Huh. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu's eyes flashed immediately, and 6 brilliant white light flakes emerged instantly from below. Directly under the forest, Orochimaru, who was moving, is firmly locked. His actions were not over yet, they were interrupted for life. Orochimaru was directly held in the air by the 6 rods in this weird posture, unable to move anymore. The picture is extremely weird. His face also changed in an instant, looking towards the sky, gritted his teeth and said. Tisk. Who is it? Chapter 22 Mission Impossible. Is something wrong? 2 more, ===. Advertisement. Orochimaru's voice spread across half of the forest in an instant. He could clearly feel that this strange attack just now came from directly above the forest. But because of the backlight, he couldn't see the picture above at all. After a while, he narrowed his eyes slightly, lowered his head, and looked around his body carefully. I saw 6 white light sheets, in a completely symmetrical form, firmly fixing themselves in the air, even unable to fall down. What kind of magic is this? Orochimaru gritted his teeth slightly, and with his years of experience in the field, he has never heard of it. However, at this moment, suddenly, a gray figure suddenly jumped down from above. He just landed on a branch of the branch, and then, instantly began to dance and make a very exaggerated sound. Wow. Senior. This is too powerful, right? Did you take this guy down with just one move? It's the true eye of the evil king? Hearing the noisy words, Orochimaru instantly condensed his eyes and looked over. But he saw that this was a man in a gray ninja suit and an orange Uzumaki mask, with no features at all. At this moment, he was still screaming very grandiosely, as if he didn't pay attention to Orochimaru in front of him at all. After seeing it clearly, Orochimaru suddenly became a little confused. And many more. Who is this guy? Advertisement. Shouldn't it be Akatsuki who is waiting here? In an instant, Orochimaru's thoughts were completely interrupted, even unable to think. Read more at mtlarchive.com. What's going on? Who on earth did that guy give my information to? Didn't I ask him to act as a spy to pretend to be Sasori's subordinate, and then deliberately reveal my information to Akatsuki? Did that guy make a mistake? It stands to reason that the guy in Akatsuki should be wearing that unique uniform. Orochimaru suddenly thought about it. In fact, he has been investigating Akatsuki for some time. At first, when he learned from the information network of the Country of Wind that there was a member of Akatsuki who was exploring the situation of Sasori of the Red Sand, he began to prepare for the plan. And this time, he deliberately let his Mission Impossible, Yakushi Kabuto, reveal his actions to Akatsuki. So that he can investigate more deeply. In the end, he didn't expect that the guy who appeared here turned out to be a second person wearing a mask. Hey, you masked guy. Is it Akatsuki? Orochimaru narrowed his eyes to look at the masked man in front, and spoke in a low, dumb voice. However, before the masked man could speak, suddenly, another black figure fell from the sky and landed right in front of Orochimaru. Seeing this familiar red cloud and black robe uniform, Orochimaru's eyes flashed. Is it Akatsuki? Advertisement. However, before he could react, something even more shocking happened to him. Because, Qing Yu who fell this time was not stepping on the branches, but, directly standing in the air. Damn it! Levitating? Orochimaru's eyes suddenly looked at this figure carefully. I saw him wearing a large red cloud and black robe, holding an unsheathed short sword in his hand. Short brown hair, angular face, fair skin, and golden pupils that are burning. I didn't wear a ninja forehead protector. Orochimaru grinned suddenly, showing a sullen smile. Tisk tut, a member of Akatsuki. Is it too rude to use this trick when we meet for the first time? Should you say hello first, the golden pupil boy? Chapter 23 Your acting skills are too bad. 3 shifts, ===.
Advertisement. The voice fell. Before Qing Yu could answer, Orochimaru suddenly opened his mouth with a strange expression.
Immediately afterwards, a more weird picture appeared.
I saw his mouth suddenly stretched out a hand. Next, there is the other hand, then the head, and the whole body.
In the end, an Orochimaru figure with a whole body of mucus, drilled directly from his mouth, and successfully leapt onto the tree trunk next to it. And the figure that was originally trapped by the 6 rods of light, but only a body remained.
This is Orochimaru Flow Perfect Body Replacement Technique.
Without requiring any knot printing, you can directly free yourself from any predicament in the same way as a snake shed its skin. Even if the body is locked by the 6 rods of light, it can still escape.
Seeing this picture, Afei, the masked man on the side, uttered a strange cry. Ah, it's disgusting. However, Qing Yu's complexion was still calm, as expected.
Of course he knew that Orochimaru had such a stunt, and he didn't even intend to defeat him easily with a Bakudo. Therefore, he just looked at Orochimaru calmly and smiled. Need to say hello to you? This time, didn't you take the initiative to disclose information and lure us to come here? As soon as these words came out, not only Orochimaru, but also the masked man Afei on the side was stupid at the same time. Immediately afterwards, he immediately began to cover his head pretentiously. What? Senior, is it true? Damn it, isn't it this time that our Feiyu duo were the ones ambushed? Wow. Shut up. Qing Yu glanced at the masked male Afei, then looked at Orochimaru, and said quietly.
Does your speed of action just now seem to be on your way? Obviously, it's more like waiting for us to attack you.
Your acting skills are terrible. Advertisement. The voice fell. Orochimaru was stunned for a while. Afterwards, he grinned slowly again, revealing a somewhat sly smile, staring at Qing Yu, smiling hoarsely. Haha, really? But, even with my poor acting skills, I seem to have successfully fooled you, the golden pupil. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Don't you notice, is there any difference behind you? Speaking of which, the smile on Orochimaru's face became more and more weird. Hearing this, the masked male Afei on the side looked at Qing Yu's back immediately, but at this look, he was taken aback. I don't know when, on the big tree behind Qing Yu, a few purple snakes unexpectedly appeared, revealing silver fangs. And at the moment he noticed, suddenly, all the little snakes rushed towards Qing Yu's back instantly, extremely fast. Qing Yu hadn't reacted at all the little snakes instantly locked his limbs completely, unable to move anymore. At this moment, the situation has changed directly. Qing Yu was actually locked. Seeing that his strategy had succeeded, Orochimaru grinned at the corner of his mouth, squinted at the Qing Yu in front of him, and said with a deep smile. So now, how do you feel? The scene fell into a dead silence. Afei, the masked man on the side, seemed to have just reacted. He suddenly appeared very anxious, and shouted at Qing Yu. Wow, Senior Qing Yu, how are you? Do you need my help? It's so noisy. Qing Yu's faint voice suddenly came out, which directly interrupted the noise of the masked male Afei. However, what surprised everyone was, Qing Yu's voice did not come from their side. But, above the sky, advertisement realizing this, Orochimaru and Obito, the masked man, had their hearts beating violently at the same time, and they looked up high in the sky. However, before they had time to find the direction of the sound, they heard a faint voice again. Shoot him, Shinsō. Call out. Before the words fell, a dazzling silver light suddenly burst out from the sky. The sharp tip of the knife is like cutting the air. In an instant, the tip of the knife fell from the sky and swept across Orochimaru's chest in an instant. Puff! Between the sparks and flints, Orochimaru's abdomen was completely penetrated by Shinsō, and was blasted away with the trunk behind. In the end, he was directly nailed to the ground. The blood spewed out and dyed the earth red. Orochimaru's pupils shrank to the smallest in an instant, and his entire face froze as he looked at the blade that was tens of meters long in disbelief. And at this time, on the side, the masked man who thought he had mastered everything, Uchiha Obito, after seeing this picture. Suddenly, as if he had seen a ghost, his expression froze directly. And the next moment, he quickly raised his head, looking towards the direction above the sky, and could vaguely see the figure of Qing Yu holding the knife. No. What's going on? Could it be that Qing Yu has never come down from the beginning? Obito was completely stupid. Chapter 24. How much power is still hidden in his golden pupil? 4 more, ===. Advertisement. The huge valley forest, at this moment, is terribly silent. Almost only the rustling sound of the cool breeze blowing over the leaves was left, as if the years were quiet. However, at this moment, Orochimaru and the masked man can't feel the peace of any time at all. Instead, they feel that their backs are chilly. The eyes of the two of them were filled with disbelief. When? How did it do it? In shock, the two of them suddenly looked in the same direction at the same place. I want to see Qing Yu, who is locked by the purple snake. However, next, they saw a picture that made their scalp numb even more. I saw that the trapped Qing Yu suddenly showed a faint smile towards the two of them. After that, it began to slowly become transparent, and finally, completely disappeared. Directly into the air. Seeing this picture, Orochimaru and the masked man were shocked almost at the same time, and they all went wide-eyed. Damn it, there was no explosion and no replacement body? What happened? This guy, he just used shadow clone and body replacement technique at all. Hiss, no way, what this guy uses, is it, illusionism? Although the two were in different positions, they thought of this at the same moment. After all, in their cognition, any clone technique or body replacement technique will have the most basic characteristics. But the Qing Yu below just disappeared directly. Basically, it can be concluded that there is no possibility except illusion. But, advertisement, if it was an illusion, when did this guy start hypnosis? Can anyone do this without coming down? This is too ridiculous, right? Read more at mtlarchive.com. The masked man at this time, Uchiha Obito's expression under the mask, is even more ugly than Orochimaru. If Orochimaru was recruited because he didn't know the existence of Qing Yu, it would be excusable and it made sense. However, when did his Tuzi brother get caught? Obviously he has been watching carefully. Damn it. How many unknown abilities are still hidden in these golden eyes called, Evil King True Eyes? Isn't it 100? Obito gritted his teeth slightly, his eyes complicated. He originally came to this mission as an intern to investigate Qing Yu's intelligence. Who can think of it, this time the mission is down, on the contrary, there are more mysteries. And at this time, Orochimaru, who was nailed to the ground below, also changed his eyes quickly. He suddenly remembered. When the masked guy jumped down just now, he seemed to have mentioned something about, Senior, and, Evil King True Eye. What is certain now is that the so-called senior should be the boy called, Qing Yu, by the masked man. So, the true eyes of the evil king, are they referring to his golden pupils? Is it some kind of brand new blood inheritance boundary? Tisk. It's really careless. Sure enough, the guy who can join Akatsuki is not as simple as it seems. Orochimaru grinned reluctantly, talking hoarsely to the upper side. The voice fell, The silver blade in his abdomen suddenly began to retract, and finally, off the ground, disappeared into the sky again. Obviously, Qing Yu put away the knife, and until then, his figure really fell from the sky. Advertisement.
Clatter. The moment his feet stepped on the ground, Qing Yu looked at Orochimaru, with a slight smile on his face, and said,
Orochimaru, how does it feel to fight the air? Qing Yu chuckled lightly. Of course he doesn't know how to illusion. As for body replacement technique and shadow clone, the same is not true. However, he also has a prop that far exceeds the ability of body replacement technique.
Portable righteousness. In the Shinigami world, a prop created by Akatsuki.
As long as you inject your own Ryatsu into it, you can form a clone enough to act freely at any time. Because it is Ryatsu's disguise, even Sharingan and Byakugan are impossible to see through. Just when I was on the giant tree high in the sky. After the masked man went down, Qing Yu immediately used the portable corpse. As the main body, I always converged on Ryatsu and witnessed everything in the sky. This is the series of pictures just now, looking at Qing Yu's eyes. Orochimaru was taken aback for a moment, without any answer. But the next moment, he suddenly opened his mouth again, so he tried again. He used the big snake flow body replacement technique again, and directly drilled out an Orochimaru with a snake tail, and sneaked towards Qing Yu. And this time, his goal is only one, capture Qing Yu's eyes. Since his evil king True Eye has such a powerful ability, wouldn't it be a pity? Orochimaru quickly raised his hand and rushed directly towards Qing Yu at an extremely fast speed, with a strange smile on his face. I will accept your golden pupil. Chapter 25. Do you think you are the leader behind Akatsuki? 5 more, ===. Advertisement. Orochimaru, the master of old Yin people. Among the few things he is best at in his life, one is to engage in sneak attacks. And just now, when he saw Qing Yu's body, he saw that pair of powerful golden pupils for the first time. This feeling is no less than his experience when he once saw Sharingan. Then, he decided to get it done. However, his voice just fell, just when his hand was almost 30 centimeters away from Qing Yu. Suddenly, the mutation happened, and Qing Yu could only hear it lightly. 58 of Hado Tanlan. Boom! A powerful white storm suddenly appeared, and blasted directly at Orochimaru's face. In the midst of the gusty wind, Orochimaru had no room to dodge at all, and was hit directly. Puff! At the same time that a mouthful of old blood spurted out, Orochimaru's body instantly flew upside down like a kite with a broken line. Along the way, all the trees, flowers and plants, all collapsed. After landing, Orochimaru's eyes were shocked, with a black question mark on his face. What happened? Such a close distance. When did this guy get the seal? On the side, the masked man who saw this picture instantly reacted and suddenly narrowed his eyes. Tisk. Has the weird pupil technique appear again? After Muji's golden lightning style and blue fire style, now there is another wind style. Orochimaru, the boring trick ends here. Qing Yu's complexion remained unchanged, just looking at Orochimaru, and chuckling lightly. Advertisement. Almost, it's time to talk about your business. Hearing this, Orochimaru got up, grinned, looked at Qing Yu, and smiled lowly. Haha. Indeed it is. Although I wanted to try my luck just now, it seems that it won't be that easy. Read more at mtlarchive.com. As for business, Orochimaru paused slightly and smiled. I noticed that Akatsuki is recruiting members, isn't it? So, should you try to get me to join Akatsuki? I have always been very interested in your organization. If you join, it should also enhance your strength. Furthermore, I also have a lot of information from major countries, and I can definitely provide a lot of convenience for your organization. Isn't it? Orochimaru stared at Qing Yu closely, and said with a smile. He has indeed deployed a lot of intelligence networks in major countries over the years, otherwise it would be impossible to know Akatsuki's existence. After hearing this, Qing Yu's mouth suddenly raised slightly. Sure enough, the time has come for the snake to recommend himself. This Diamao really wanted to join Akatsuki. Qing Yu glanced at the system panel, and saw a brand new series of side missions displayed impressively on it. Recruiting a member for Akatsuki, 0/1, incomplete, unknown reward. Recruiting 2 members for Akatsuki, 0 halves, unfinished, the reward is unknown. Recruiting 3 members, 0/3, for the Akatsuki organization, unfinished, the reward is unknown. There are 3 tasks in this series. In other words, he can get 3 rewards by recruiting 3 members in total. Orochimaru in front of me was almost given away for nothing. There is no reason to disagree. So, after listening to Orochimaru's words, Qing Yu hardly had any hesitation, then smiled and said. So it is. It seems. You do seem to fit Akatsuki well.
Advertisement. Then, I'll take the name of Chief Pain for the time being, and promise you to join in.
The voice fell. Orochimaru and the masked man looked at the same time. Of course Orochimaru was in a good mood. He didn't expect that he would get a recognized answer so easily. However, the masked man on the side was upset. However, he did not forget his identity at this time, so he spoke in Alfie's usual tone. Now, Senior Qing Yu, I don't think this is right. If Orochimaru really joins Akatsuki, maybe he will steal our information. I think it's better to refuse. As soon as this word came out, Orochimaru's eyebrows suddenly wrinkled slightly, ready to retort. However, before he had time to refute, he saw Qing Yu in front looking at the masked man, flipped through Byakugan, and said indifferently. You're just an intern, why are you bothering about this? Qing Yu stared at Obito's Uzumaki mask tightly, smiling nonchalantly. Don't. Do you think you are the leader behind Akatsuki? Have more power than pain? The voice fell off. Under the mask, Obito's throat struck, and he was stunned. INM. What does this mean? I was originally Akatsuki's leader behind the scenes, okay?
Chapter 26 Acquired Black Accent, the branch line of shame. 6 more ===.
Advertisement after listening to Qing Yu's words just now. Under the mask, Obito's face was almost green. There was still a faint wave of old blood in his chest, which seemed to be squirted out at any time. This guy who joined Akatsuki without his consent already made Obito very upset. And now, he is still in front of his Tuzi brother, pulling people into the Akatsuki without authorization? It's Orochimaru who looks like a second to five son. This is so unreasonable, however, although Obito has a lot of dissatisfaction and resentment in his heart. However, due to the identity of the intern Afei at this moment, he knew that he could only acquiesce.
Can't be tough, right? Then the Alfie setting he worked so hard to create collapsed.
As for Orochimaru, after joining Akatsuki, let's find another member to watch him. Therefore, for the successful implementation of Project Tasuki no Mi in the future, Tuzi finally did not choose to jump his identity, but tolerated it. Ding, congratulations to host, the side mission was successfully completed. Defeat Ninja Scientist Orochimaru, 1/1, completed, rewards, Kido Experience plus 500, Shunpo Experience plus 100, Ryatsu plus 1000. Recruiting a member for Akatsuki, 1/1, completed, reward, Ryatsu plus 1000. A total of 3 movie class powerhouses have been defeated, 3/3, completed, X reward, Black Chamber. Black Chamber description. System special rewards. After successful acquisition, the host will master the power to open the Black Chamber at any time. You can use its own Ryatsu at any position to forcibly break the space barrier and enter the Black Chamber. After listening to the series of tones from my ears, Qing Yu, who was still accustomed to it, was shocked by the reward explanation later. WOC. Is it a black tone? This is almost the same as the powerful ability of the Otsutsuki clans, Blood Successive Snack, Hiroshizaka. Break the space gap at will and enter the power of another world. Unexpectedly, it came at this time. No wonder, the completion conditions for this side mission need to be completed only after defeating 3 strong shadow ranks. Advertisement from Sasori at the beginning, to Kakuzu at Rain Shinobi Village, to Orochimaru just now. Exactly 3, successfully unlocked this ability. It's so fragrant. A very satisfied smile appeared on Qing Yu's face, and he even couldn't wait to try it out. However, in front of Orochimaru and Obito, it is naturally not easy to show it. Read more at mtlarchive.com. And just as he was thinking, Afei's voice came. Even if he is angry in his heart, he can perform a second-hand appearance without hindrance. Now, Senior Qing Yu, the task has been completed, shall we return to Rain Shinobi Village now? Let's report to the chief. Hearing this, Qing Yu's heart moved slightly, and then shook his head again, saying, Don't worry, you two wait for me, I'll take care of a personal matter. Private matter. Hearing Qing Yu's words, Orochimaru did not respond. However, under Alfie's mask on the side, Obito's eyes moved slightly. At this time to deal with personal affairs? Is it something that you don't want to be noticed? Then, let me observe it in secret later. What secret are you hiding? After Qing Yu left, Obito decided to follow the wave secretly. Qing Yu who left Orochimaru and Afei. Of course, I did not choose to return directly to Rain Shinobi Village, but instead came to a famous commercial street in the Country of Fire. It just so happens that it's not far from the valley where they are. Moreover, he has not forgotten that there is still a series of side missions waiting to be completed in his system. Collect a Jiraiya novel, Intimate Paradise, 0/1, unfinished, and the reward is unknown. Read Jiraiya's novel, Intimacy in Paradise, 0/1, completely, unfinished, the reward is unknown. Affectionate recitation of Jiraiya's novel, Intimacy in Heaven, 0/1, unfinished, unknown reward. Although these tasks are a bit shame, advertisement. But at any rate, you can mix in rewards like Ryatsu. If you don't make a profit, you don't make a profit. Not for reading, mainly for doing tasks. Qing Yu immediately found the only big bookstore in the commercial street. After entering, he didn't say anything, and directly slapped the money on the counter. Toward the beautiful female clerk in front of her, she said very calmly. Hello, give me a copy of Love in Heaven, thank you. As soon as the voice fell, immediately aroused the surprised eyes of many passers-by around. Who is this person? Are you so arrogant to buy a little yellow book? Cow. Even the female clerk at the counter suddenly looked awkward, and only after a while, she smiled apologetically and bowed her head politely. I'm very sorry, this guest. Unluckily, the inventory of In Love in Heaven has been sold out today. Huh? Sold out? So popular? Qing Yu was taken aback. He suddenly remembered that the book Jiraiya seems to be very popular in the shinobi world. The female clerk nodded and said, Yes. Just a minute ago, the last copy in our store happened to be bought by Konan shinobi who was wearing a black mask. He seems to have gone to the noodle shop next door. Would you like to try to borrow from him? The last one was bought by Konan shinobi wearing a black mask? Qing Yu's face suddenly became strange, because he suddenly thought of someone. Friends in the know, Please type the name of this unknown ninja in the comment area. Funny. Chapter 27. What's the situation? Intelligence for a small yellow book? One more, equals. Advertisement. After a while, Qing Yu walked out of the bookstore with a helpless smile on his face. According to the introduction of the clerk, they are almost the largest bookstore in the Country of Fire. If they are sold out even here, they will not be available in other places in a short time. Therefore, if you want to watch it for the first time, the most convenient way is to find someone else to borrow it. And a minute ago, there happened to be a Konoha shinobi wearing a black mask who bought the last one and entered the noodle shop next door. Tisk tut, it seems that I can only find him. Qing Yu smiled bitterly and shook his head, then lifted up and walked towards the noodle restaurant on the side.
After all, it was hard to come out. Qing Yu didn't want to miss this opportunity to complete the side task.
And he has also thought of the approximate method of borrowing books. That is, I might have to pit a certain actor wearing a mask for a while. With a faint smile on his face, Qing Yu stepped to the noodle restaurant called Nine Tiao Ramen, next to the bookstore. And at the moment of entry, he immediately saw the figure of a white-haired young man sitting in the corner. He was wearing a black mask, and Konoha shinobi's forehead protector leaned down slightly, just blocking his left eye. At this time, he was crouching Erlang's legs, holding a copy of Intimate Paradise in my hand. I read it openly, like no one else. It looks very leisurely. That's right, he is the little brother Konoha shinobi named by the female clerk. Konoha Jonin, Hitaki Kakashi. The moment I saw him, Qing Yu suddenly raised the corners of his mouth and walked straight towards him. However, he just approached. Kakashi noticed his presence very keenly, then immediately put down the book in his hand and stared at it. Advertisement, what's up, started very coldly. Just like the cold expression on Kakashi's face. While closing the book in his hand, he looked up and down Qing Yu. And Qing Yu showed a gentle smile, and said with a smile sad face, read more at mtlarchive.com. Excuse me, you should be the famous Konoha shinobi, Sharingan Kakashi? I want to use a piece of information in exchange for the book in your hand. Is it okay? Qing Yu smiled genially, completely straight to the point. In the first time, he explained his intentions straightforwardly, without any sloppiness. And this magical operation immediately made Kakashi stunned. What's the situation? In recent years, has it become popular to use intelligence to exchange small pornographic books? Anyway, who is this guy? After taking a close look at Qing Yu, Kakashi raised his eyebrows and said unexpectedly. Although I don't know how you recognize me, but... Really a straightforward request, but I'm sorry, I'm not interested in intelligence. After speaking, Kakashi lowered his eyes again and opened the book to himself. Don't plan to pay attention to this young man in front of him. However, at this moment, Qing Yu suddenly sat directly opposite his square table and then revealed a mysterious smile, chuckling softly. Then if I say, is this information about your best friend? Advertisement. Hearing this, Kakashi raised his head almost instantly, then frowned slightly and said, It's Guy? Where did that guy cause trouble? Mention the word best friend. He naturally thought of his best friend in Konoha village. Passionate man, might Guy. However, what he didn't expect was that Qing Yu shook his head and smiled. Guessed wrong. The best friend I'm referring to is the one who once gave you Sharingan. Its name is Uchiha Obito. As soon as the voice fell, Kakashi's pupils suddenly shrank, his breathing was instantly stagnant, and the book in his hand could not help but squeeze directly. You, what did you say, Obito? Kakashi's heart almost stopped beating. He did not expect that at this time, in such a place, he would suddenly hear the name hidden in the deepest part of his memory. Obiduo, Uchiha Obito. Yes. Qing Yu nodded, then raised the corners of his mouth, staring at Kakashi, smiling and saying. So, do you want to exchange? After all, Kakashi-senpai, you don't seem to know that he is still alive, right? What? Obito is still alive. After listening to Qing Yu's words, Kakashi's eyes widened suddenly, completely stupid. Chapter 28. The light of the right way is sprinkled on the land of the ninja world. 2 more, equals. Advertisement. Hitaki Kakashi, who is called 55. Has always been a very lazy person. If he hadn't heard the name, he would rarely have such a severe mood swing.
Because of the name, almost represents his most painful memory.
1. Qing Yu naturally knew this, so he chose to use this as a breakthrough. He looked at Kakashi and continued smiling. Kakashi-senpai, as long as you give me the book in your hand, I will tell you some information you want to know, such as his current new identity. After a long silence, Kakashi's expression slowly began to recover from the incomparable shock. But he still stared at Qing Yu, gritted his teeth slightly, and said solemnly. I don't even know your identity and purpose. How to trust your information? Hearing this, Qing Yu tilted her head slightly, laughed, and said. Don't believe me? Goodbye then. With that, Qing Yu stood up directly, put his hands in his pockets, and turned to leave. Seeing this picture, Kakashi was immediately silly. Damn it, how can anyone talk about terms like this?
If you can't say a word, you have to go straight away.
Don't you insist on it a little bit? Tisk, after hesitating for a short moment. Kakashi gritted his teeth, and finally stood up, and said quickly and solemnly.
And many more. As soon as the voice fell, with his back to Kakashi, Qing Yu stopped and showed the expected smile on his face, then turned around and smiled.
What's wrong, Kakashi-senpai, have you changed your mind? Advertisement. Kakashi didn't say a word, but after a reluctant glance at the intimate paradise in his hand, he closed the book and threw it over. Snapped. The yellow book traversed a parabolic trajectory in the air and fell accurately into Qing Yu's hands. A satisfied smile appeared on Qing Yu's face immediately. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Get it? Ding. Congratulations to host, the side mission has been completed. Collect a copy of Jiraiya's novel, Love in Heaven. 1/1, completed, reward. Ryatsu plus 1000. The prompt sound came instantaneously, and Qing Yu immediately felt the weak increase of spiritual power in the body. Speak. About the intelligence in your mouth.
Kakashi sat down again, pretending to be calm. However,
in his voice, there was a faint tremor. How many years? For several years, he hadn't heard the name, Obito, from other people's mouths. In the entire Konoha village, among the entire Uchiha family. It seems that everyone has forgotten the tale of this crane that died in the war. However, Kakashi will not forget. He has always remembered everything about Obito from the beginning of Shenwubi Bridge. And this Sharingan on him was the last gift Obito left to him. Therefore, even if he didn't trust the brown-haired and golden-eyed boy at all, he wanted to hear what kind of information he had. There will be this obsession, probably because, compared to death, he prefers to believe the fact that Obito is alive. He has lost everything important around him, father, teacher, Lin. If Obito is still alive, in any case, Kakashi must find him.
Quote. Seeing Kakashi's serious appearance, Qing Yu's mind moved slightly.
However, instead of sitting down again, he smiled and said, "What I said to say may be completely different from what you expected, Kakashi-senpai, so please don't be too surprised." Advertisement. Kakashi's eyes drooped slightly, and he nodded faintly, saying nothing. And Qing Yu, with a smile on his face, unhurriedly said, "As I said before, your best friend, Uchiha Obito, didn't actually die in the Battle of the Shinsō Bridge, but was saved by a kind old man. After that, under the careful teaching and brainwashing of this old man, he survived with a brand new posture and identity. So, if one day in the future, where did you see the words of a man wearing an orange Uzumaki mask, wearing a red cloud and black robe, who called himself Uchiha Madara? Then, don't hesitate, try to shoot Reikari directly at his face. Because, after smashing that mask, you will probably see a familiar face." At the end, Qing Yu's smile grew thicker. "The above is all my information, then, goodbye, 55. As soon as the voice fell, Qing Yu raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Snapped. The moment his fingers fell, Qing Yu's figure suddenly turned into an afterimage and disappeared directly into the lobby of the noodle shop. On the other hand, Kakashi, who was on the seat, had already froze stiffly. The eyes widened, but the pupils were minimized, and the heart seemed to be directly stagnant. Although he didn't know why this teenager mispronounced his name as 55 Kai, but there is no doubt. These words, to him, are like a bolt from the blue. After a while, on the street outside the noodle shop. While walking forward, Qing Yu slowly flipped through a yellow book, with a satisfied smile on his face. Today, he did a good thing. The light of the righteous way is sprinkled on the land of Ninja World. Chapter 29 Selling Ghosts, Obito's Obsession with the Mystery Book, 3 more, ===. Advertisement at the same time. What Qing Yu didn't care about when he was reading. On the opposite side of the crowded street, on a certain building in the distance, a figure was watching all this closely. That was the masked man who quietly followed, Uchiha Obito. At that time, after Qing Yu left, he directly looked for an opportunity and left White Zetsu, Fei, disguised as a Fei to deal with the Orochimaru. After changing his outfit, he came to follow Qing Yu secretly. He wants to know, what ulterior motives does this mysterious guy have? However, when he saw that Qing Yu had come to the commercial street and went straight into the bookstore, he was immediately confused. This guy, is he really here to buy books? Is it because I think too much? After a while, Qing Yu entered the noodle restaurant. A few more minutes passed. He saw that Qing Yu had come out again with a certain body flicker technique, and he seemed to be holding a book with a yellow cover in his hand. Is this some kind of special ninjutsu secret scroll? Under the mask, Obito narrowed his eyes slightly, guessing boldly. After he decided to take a Fei's identity, he would come to investigate this thing sideways. After all, a book that can be made by a powerful person like Qing Yu to make a special trip will definitely not be anything ordinary. Obito didn't believe that it would be a normal book either. After a while, Obito came back, merged with White Zetsu again, then put on a mask and reincarnate as Akatsuki's to-be intern, a Fei. And the moment he succeeded in incarnation, he just happened to see Qing Yu coming back. Let's go, set off to return to Rain Shinobi Village. At this moment, Qing Yu has a gentle smile on his face, as if he is in a very good mood. He said directly to Orochimaru and the masked man, for this advertisement. Orochimaru naturally had no objections, but just nodded and followed. After all, he still has more grand plans in his mind, and naturally he has no time to consider these small details. But a Fei, the masked man, suddenly rushed up and exclaimed. "Now, Senior Qing Yu, read more at mtlarchive.com. What did you do just now? Is it a date, or did you buy something delicious? Now, tell me about it." A Fei immediately turned on the old two-dimensional mode, surrounded by Qing Yu, chatting non-stop. Qing Yu frowned. This guy. is really annoying. No wonder a certain artistic genius Didera wants to bomb him every day, he deserves it. It's nothing, I just bought the book. Sansakura download. Qing Yu decided to speak straight, it didn't matter anyway. But, after hearing this, the masked man Afei seemed to be even more excited, saying, "Wow, it turned out to be a book. I like reading books the most. What kind of books does Senior Qing Yu like to read? Can you show me?" The Legend of Strong Perseverance in Ninja, huh? The masked man was taken aback. This name, how does it sound familiar? But at this moment, he saw Qing Yu suddenly showing a weird smile, and then suddenly he took out 2 books with brown covers from his large black robe. There are a few big characters written on it impressively. Strong Perseverance Ninja Story, Adventure of the Savior of Ninja World. Author Jiraiya. The moment I saw these 2 books, not only the masked man, but Orochimaru beside him was suddenly stupid. Isn't this the Virgo novel by Jiraiya? Famous unsellable books in the ninja world. Qing Yu has such a bad taste. Actually like to watch this kind of bad work? However, Qing Yu ignored the dumbfounded expressions of the 2. Advertisement on the contrary, with a smile on his face, he suddenly forced the 2 books into the hands of Orochimaru and Obito. Then, smiling and reaching out to them, smiled. "Give you a discount. 12 a person, come on, give me money."
Are you putting it here to sell with us? Why did you suddenly sell the book without saying a word?
Regarding Qing Yu's confusing operation, Orochimaru and the masked man were all dumbfounded and confused. However, they all took out 12 taels of banknotes subconsciously. However, what they don't know is, just when their money was handed over to Qing Yu's hands, at this moment, in his mind, a system reminder was sounding. Side mission. Promote Jiraiya's novel, Strong Perseverance Ninja, 2/5, to any 5 ninjas of film level or above. 2 people have completed them, but 3 are still short of them, and the reward is unknown. Qing Yu suddenly smiled, and got a little closer to the target. Hey, forced sales, sure enough, can be considered sales. However, Obito, who was on the side, frowned under the mask after getting the book and flipping it. No, it's wrong. How can this be? When he came out of that store, he was definitely not holding this book. Gee, is this guy trying to hide something? Really? No matter how you think about it, it's too weird. Under the mask, Obito's eyes flickered secretly, and an obsession gradually rose in his heart. He decided that after returning to Rain Shinobi Village, just let Konan go and find out for himself, what is the mysterious yellow book that this guy has obtained. Chapter 30 The Eye of Illusion and Escape, Konan in the Book of Mystery, 4 more, ===. Advertisement 2 days later. The country of rain, in Rain Shinobi Village. Dark clouds are like ocean tides, covering the sky. The continuous rain continued to hit the iron buildings. At this moment, in a gloomy tall building, 2 ninjas dressed in black robes with red clouds and black stripes were standing quietly. The person behind was a woman with light blue and purple hair. Under her purple eyeshadow, her light orange pupils seemed to be unfeeling, and she wore a lavender paper flower on the right side of her head. The person in front is a young man with short orange hair tied to the ninja forehead protector from Rain Shinobi Village, and dozens of black steel nails inserted on the pale features. They are naturally heavenly Dao Pain and Konan. At this moment, the 2 of them were looking at the torrential rain falling continuously outside, silent. At this moment, behind them, there was an abnormal movement in the air. An invisible and strange Uzumaki suddenly appeared, and then, a figure wearing an orange mask appeared from Uzumaki in an instant. This person, naturally Akatsuki's intern, Afei, the masked man. However, at this moment, he still doesn't have the kind of teasing when he was in front of Qing Yu before, but is very deep. He stepped forward again and again, while speaking in a low voice. Orochimaru guy, has it been arranged? Konan nodded slightly and said calmly. The ring of emphasis has been given to him, and a uniform has also been sent to him. Okay. From today, let Kakuzu and him act together for the time being. At the same time, Kakuzu is also responsible for monitoring all of Orochimaru's actions. The masked man spoke without emotion and gave orders firmly. Understood. Pain answered indifferently. Of course he knew what the masked man meant. A scheming man like Orochimaru would be too dangerous if he left alone.
Therefore, it is the best solution to have a member with sufficient strength to monitor him at all times.
It can make him feel at ease to do things for Akatsuki without worrying too much about his backstab. After a moment of silence, the masked man spoke again, in a low voice. Advertisement, have to say, this mission is indeed full of gains.
As you 2 said, this person named Qing Yu really has a mysterious pupil technique. Read more at mtlarchive.com.
According to my investigation, his blood continues to the limit, and it is named, Evil King True Eye. It is a veritable eye of illusion and upgraded magic. He is able to release various attributes of escape, strange illusions, and something similar to the ability to manipulate gravity. In short, it may be a force no less complicated than Rinnegan. Sansakura download, mini program.
Quote. The voice fell. Pain and Konan looked at each other.
All saw a look of expectation in the eyes of the other party.
Really, Qing Yu's golden pupil is not that simple.
Now, their original speculation has been thoroughly confirmed. And then, without waiting for them to think carefully,
the masked man continued. However, compared to these confirmed facts,
now there is one thing, I need Konan you to confirm it yourself. Hearing this, Konan's mouth let out a soft suspicious sound.
The masked man didn't seem to care, but he said in a low tone as always.
When we finished our mission, that guy once went out on the grounds of private affairs. Then, he obtained a mysterious book from the commercial street in the Country of Fire. When I asked him about it, he also deliberately took out an irrelevant novel and wanted to conceal it. Unfortunately, all of this is in my eyes. The masked man smiled as if everything was under control and continued. So, I want to know whether there is something strange in the mysterious book in Qing Yu's hands. Konan, since you were the one who recruited him. It's up to you to check it out yourself. I remember, the cover of the book should be yellow. Advertisement. A few minutes later, on the other side of Rain Shinobi Village, in Qing Yu's residence.
At this moment, the bored Qing Yu is continuing to look at the intimate paradise obtained from Hitaki Kakashi, working hard to complete the side mission.
Tisk tusk, it really deserves to be the #1 bestseller in the ninja world. No wonder Kakashi likes it so much. Qing Yu flipped through it quickly and smiled to himself. The story inside, it's more than stimulus, it's stimulus. And at this moment, the door to his room was suddenly opened. Crack. Then, the paper flying in the sky instantly entered the room and finally condensed into a human form. When Qing Yu turned his head, he immediately saw Konan standing next to him. Damn it! Why is she here? Qing Yu's face suddenly stagnated.
On the other hand, Konan looked at the book in Qing Yu's hand without showing a trace, and said,
Qing Yu, I'm here. Huh, just halfway through her words, she suddenly froze and froze. Because, in just a short while, she had already clearly seen the content described in the book. At this moment, Konan's face suddenly froze, she was completely stupid.
This is the mysterious book that Masked Man is curious about.
Does he have a brain problem? Chapter 31 Is your suspicion too heavy? 5 more, ===.
Advertisement. Before coming here, Konan's heart was full of speculations about the Book of Mysteries that the Masked Man said.
Ninjutsu secret scrolls, information from other countries, geographic records, etc. But she couldn't think of it anyway. It turned out to be a small yellow book describing XX. That masked man, there is definitely a problem with his brain. After being stunned for a long time, Konan turned his head stiffly to look at Qing Yu, and said with a strange expression in his eyes. Did you make a special trip to buy this book outside? Yeah. Qing Yu nodded and lifted the book. Why, do you want to read it too? Konan's face suddenly stagnated. No. Stop disturbing your reading, I'm leaving now. The voice fell off. Konan, who had a weird face, immediately opened his paper wings and left the window as if fleeing. He vaguely saw his face a little flushed. However, in the room, Qing Yu held a small yellow book in his hand, a little confused. What's the situation? You left before you finished speaking? Even if the content in Love in Paradise is very explicit, it shouldn't be so exciting, right? Qing Yu scratched his head. Forget it, let's continue reading. After a while, Konan went straight back to the meeting building. His face was quite weird. The masked man moved his eyes and asked in a deep voice. Have you found any useful information? Konan was silent for a moment, and finally raised his eyes, looked directly at the masked man in front of him, and said indifferently. No, your inference is wrong. Advertisement. The book in his hand is nothing more than an ordinary novel. Are you suspicious of him a little too heavy? At the end, Konan frowned slightly. But the masked man was suddenly startled. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Ordinary novel only. This, impossible. In order to buy an ordinary novel, he would make a special trip to a bookstore a few miles away? The masked man was immediately puzzled. If this is the case, it would be too idle, right? Obito suddenly discovered that he seemed to be increasingly unable to understand the various peculiar operations of this boy named Qing Yu. After a long time, he decided to put aside his doubts for the time being, and then looked at the two Konan again and said. Forget it, let's not talk about this for now. A few days ago, I asked you to go to major countries to investigate this Qing Yu's past intelligence. Is there any progress? This was the task Obito secretly gave them. Hearing this, Pain did not answer, but Konan on the side closed his eyes and shook his head, calmly saying. No doubt. We found out after screening through various intelligence networks. In the entire ninja world, there is no country or organization where the name, Qing Yu, has ever appeared. So, the most likely explanation is, he is indeed the same as is. All information records have been destroyed in the Ninja World War. I am a truly displaced person. The fastest update chapter of Filu, Sansakura download. Konan's eyes drooped slightly, and he finished speaking softly. In fact, halfway through the investigation at that time, Konan had already believed that Qing Yu was also a person who had experienced war. Otherwise, it is impossible for him to have such top strength at such an age. The strong are driven by pain, just like Nagato. Just like Konan. Just like the dead Yahiko. Like Qing Yu, they are all people who do not exist in the records of various countries after experiencing the ravages of war. And, advertisement a few days ago, when Konan was talking with Nagato, he was surprised to find out. In some respects, Qing Yu's appearance is very similar to Yahiko when he was a child. After realizing this, Konan suddenly realized. Only then did she know why when she first saw Qing Yu, she seemed to have a sense of déjà vu. Possibly, this is also the reason why she has always had a natural affection for Qing Yu. After all, compared to the dangerous masked man in front of him, Konan is more willing to believe in someone who has the same tragic past as himself. A lone young man walked out of the desert, are there any doubts? In other words, at least it is certain that this guy is not a spy from a certain shinobu village. Never mind. In this case, the investigation of him should be temporarily suspended. The masked man stood up, Sharingan's eyes flickered, deep and steady. Akatsuki's formation continues. We can't delay the plan just because this guy joins. After a while, I will probably bring a different member. You all hurry up and continue to recruit all the people on the list I gave you. It is good. Pain nodded slightly. There are actually only 6 members in the Akatsuki organization today. Excluding the 2 leaders of him and Konan, there are only Qing Yu, Kakuzu, an unreliable Orochimaru and even more unreliable Nepenthes. To realize that great peace plan, of course, such manpower is not enough. Chapter 32 On the eve of the night of extermination, the beginning of trouble, 6 more, ===. Advertisement and Obito is not a stupid person. With such a large intelligence gap now, he certainly wouldn't continue to do anything to Qing Yu. After all, from the bright side, the current Qing Yu can basically be regarded as an indispensable and powerful fighting force in the Akatsuki organization. Maybe in the future Tail Beast capture plan, it can still play a very big role. So, after listening to Konan's narration, Obito decided to put aside his doubts and prejudices for the time being and concentrate on his own big business. And after the two of Pain and Konan discussed, decided to follow the orders of the Masked Man to continue the previous recruitment plan and expand Akatsuki's organization. Prepare for the official launch of the Tail Beast project. Time flies. Unknowingly, months pass by in a hurry. In the Akatsuki organization, 2 new members were added successively. The first was named Fuji, from a small country. Although he was tall and mighty, he had the face of a middle-aged uncle. And the other one, called Loquat Juzo, from Kurigakure, the country of water, was one of the 7 Ninto swords who defected because of dissatisfaction with the village's tyranny and then joined Akatsuki. Objectively speaking, neither of these guys had the strength of a shadow class at all. The reason to join Akatsuki is because Akatsuki lacks manpower. After all, you can't just rely on Kakuzu to work and earn money to support the organization, right? Therefore, they were recruited for the purpose of taking over various mercenary or war missions from the very beginning and then collecting money. However, Qing Yu, who knows the direction of the plot, also understands that these 2 men will die soon and then be replaced. Therefore, he didn't bother to deal with these people. Anyway, even Haze's Loquat Juzo has already joined. Uchiha Itachi should be coming soon too. Advertisement Qing Yu said to himself. He remembered that in the plot of the original book, Itachi's first partner after Akatsuki was the man with the decapitator. And now, the Loquat Juzo has been joining for a month. Logically speaking, it should not be far from the joining of Uchiha Itachi. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Qing Yu thought while walking on the street of Rain Shinobi Village. The reason why he would think about it, of course it is not because of, he simply wants to meet Uchiha Itachi. After all, he is not a fencing enthusiast, but because. Just the night before, a brand new main mission suddenly appeared in the system. Uchiha Knight of Genocide. That's right, it's not a branch line in daily life. It is the same nature as the original, join any organization, and it is the main line, appointed by the system. As we all know, the main task of the system is far more important than the branch. As long as it is completed, it will inevitably receive extremely rich rewards. When Qing Yu joined the Akatsuki organization, the Shinigami's hollow power, he obtained as the best example. Therefore, for this kind of task, Qing Yu certainly will not miss it. He is now looking forward to the appearance of system prompts every day. System, open the panel. Ding. A crisp reminder sounded, and then, an aqua-blue illusory interface instantly unfolded in front of his eyes. Open black lens bracket the king of the night system close black lens bracket open black lens bracket host. Qing Yu close black lens bracket. Ryatsu. LV.4, medium, Zanpakutō, Shinsō, 100%. Advertisement open black lens bracket swordsmanship. Mastery close black lens bracket open black lens bracket white hits, proficient close black lens bracket. Shunpo. Excellence. Open black lens bracket keto. Excellence close black lens bracket, props. Deathmaster outfit, Akatsuki. Veer, portable righteous skeleton, restoration medicine. Other skills. Hollow, LV.1, Heichang, LV.1, Ryatsu perception. LV.4, mystery thousands of white snake, LV.3. Current main task. Participate in the big event Uchiha Annihilation Night, 0/1, unfinished, reward unknown, close black lens bracket. Mainline branch task. Read the Nanga Shrine Stone Tablet, 0/1, once, incomplete, and the reward is unknown, close black lens bracket. Experience Sharingan's illusion, 0/1, once, incomplete, and the reward is unknown, close black lens bracket. Crack Sharingan's illusion once, 0/1, incomplete, and the reward is unknown, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket experience Mangekyo Sharingan, 0/1, once, incomplete, and the reward is unknown, close black lens bracket. Collect 1 pair of Uchiha's Sharingan, 0/1, incomplete, and the reward is unknown, close black lens bracket. Collect 5 pairs of Uchiha's Sharingan, 0/5, incomplete, and the reward is unknown. Close black lens bracket. Collect 10 pairs of Uchiha's Sharingan, 0/10, incomplete, and the reward is unknown. Close black lens bracket. Looking at the system interface, this is a large list of tasks from top to bottom. An expectant smile appeared on Qing Yu's face, on the eve of the night of genocide. The beginning of trouble. Chapter 33 Uchiha Clan, The Last Supper, one more, ===.
Advertisement. Main line branch task. In fact, it is not equivalent to ordinary, side missions.
Because these tasks can only be completed in the process of executing the main line. For example, reading the stone tablet of Nanga Shrine, in this mission. If you go in normal times, it won't work at all, and it must be done during the night of annihilation. Tisk, it's so daunting, although the reward should be very generous.
However, if so many branch tasks are completed in one night at the same time, you still need to plan carefully. Qing Yu thought very seriously. After all this time,
what he needs to face is 2 opponents, and not a trash opponent yet. On the contrary, they are 2 shadow levels, which can even be said to be close to the existence of super shadow levels. This first one is naturally the elder son Uchiha Itachi, who opened Sharingan at the age of 8 and Mangekyo at the age of 11. And the second one is the guy who secretly assisted in the extermination, the number 1 shit stick in the ninja world, the mysterious masked man Uchiha Obito. It is clear, if Qing Yu wants to successfully complete all branch tasks, he must deal with them. But in this way, wouldn't my identity be directly exposed?
Difficult. Qing Yu stretched out a finger and rubbed his temple.
And at this moment, suddenly, under the eaves next to the street, 2 children from Rain Shinobi village rushed past. The 2 were very noisy and interrupted Qing Yu's thoughts instantly. Hey, Chuan-sang, look at it. How about this new goblin mask I bought today? Does it look good?
Wow, what is this? Goblin, it's terrible. Ha ha ha, is fake.
While the 2 children were playing around, they gradually ran away. However, after listening to them, Qing Yu's eyes suddenly lit up.
Advertisement. And many more. Goblin mask. Yup, why didn't I expect it just now? Read more at mtlarchive.com.
Since Uchiha Obito can wear a mask and pretend to be Uchiha Madara to fool others, why can't I? Besides, after Hollow, Shinigami happens to have a virtual mask, isn't it? Thought of here, the corner of Qing Yu's mouth suddenly raised. A brilliant strategy suddenly appeared in his mind. The 2 filial sons of the Uchiha family.
When the time comes, let me change my identity to play with you.
At the same time on the other side, twilight hour. The east of the country of rain. The remote country of fire, within Konohagakure. The roof of the Naruto building. As the sky faded, the flock of crows flew past. Although the sun has not yet set, the full moon seems to have begun to gradually rise, and the 2 figures below are reflected in the interlaced light. Itachi, have you really made up your mind? Looking at Konoha village in the dim light in the distance, Third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen asked quietly with his back to the person behind him. There was an elusive look in his muddy eyes, standing with one hand, like a sculpture. At this moment, behind him, Uchiha Itachi knelt on one knee and lowered his head slightly. After a long time, then he replied softly, yes. Although there is only one word, it seems to be an unprecedented decision. Advertisement. Hearing this response, Sarutobi Hiruzen slowly raised his head. He narrowed his eyes slightly, and then let out a long breath and said softly. If that's the case, then do it. I assure you in the name of Third Hokage your brother Sasuke will live unharmed and grow up. Sarutobi Hiruzen squinted, with a long tone of voice, it seemed to show some strange emotions. Heard that, Uchiha Itachi slowly closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and said solemnly. Then, please. The voice fell, his figure flashed for an instant and disappeared in place. Since the Nine Tails chaos, the Uchiha clan and the village are in a similar situation. On one side, planning rebellion and seizing power. On the other side, they are thinking about suppression and destruction. As Uchiha Itachi who exists in the middle, in the end, he chose to betray the family and obey the will of fire in his heart. He wants to protect the peace of the village and his brother. For this reason, he could only accept the destruction plan suggested by the senior Konoha. And tonight, this is the beginning of the action. He will team up with the masked man who calls himself Uchiha Madara, to destroy the Uchiha clan together. The following dusk, for everyone in this family named Uchiha. That is, The Last Supper. Chapter 34 Panying Danzo, Goying Obito, 2 more, ===. Advertisement. The sea before the storm is always unexpectedly quiet. One such carved Konoha, at this time, a dark basement. A one-eyed old man with half of his head and hands wrapped in white bandages was sitting on an old wicker chair, closing his eyes and resting. It seems that something is faintly waiting for, and at this moment, a figure walked in quickly from outside the door, then knelt on one knee, lowered his head, and said in a very respectful low voice. Master Danzo, Uchiha Itachi has decided to act tonight. This old man is exactly the leader of Konoha's root, Konoha's strongest pot shadow Shimura Danzo. When the voice of the figure fell, Danzo's eyes slowly narrowed, and after a while, he said. Go down, continue to monitor, and return to life at any time. Yes. The figure quickly retreated and closed the basement door. But in a moment, in the air in the basement, a Uzumaki-like chakra breath suddenly appeared, and then a figure appeared from Uzumaki out of thin air. He is wearing a large black robe and a single-eyed orange Uzumaki mask. It was Akatsuki's mysterious masked man, Yo, Shimura Danzo, you are unexpectedly very calm. The moment it appeared, the masked man opened his mouth with a deep smile. Danzo raised his eyes and looked over, as if he had expected it. His eyes were cold, and he said indifferently. The existence of the Uchiha clan is the biggest hidden danger for Konoha today. It is a necessary procedure to get rid of them. All I did was for Konoha. With that, Danzo stood up from the wicker chair, stared at the masked man, and continued. And, aren't you? For tonight's action to annihilate your clan, you now seem to be equally abnormally calm. Advertisement, Uchiha Madara. Danzo said the name almost word for word. After listening to these words, the masked man did not seem to have any mood swings, but he still laughed lowly. Oh, for Konoha. This is really an admirable noble character. Read more at mtlarchive.com. So, for the race you hate, their Sharingan, you shouldn't need it either? The masked man stared at Shimura Danzo and said this in his low, smiling tone. However, as soon as the voice fell, Danzo's old face suddenly froze. He didn't expect that, as he talked, the masked man B would suddenly bring the topic here. What does this mean? Say I don't need Sharingan. This guy won't suddenly have the idea of swallowing it alone, right? Although I don't like the Uchiha clan, I didn't say that I don't want their blood inheritance. Humph. Danzo snorted suddenly, squinting his eyes pretentiously, and said angrily. Madara, do you want to regret our previous agreement? Danzo wanted to destroy the Uchiha clan. In addition to those Konoha's righteousness on the surface, naturally, there is also some selfishness. That is, Sharingan, the exclusive blood of the Uchiha clan, possess a powerful ability that makes the entire ninja world crazy. And Danzo, the first time I really felt its power was because of a forbidden technique. Izanagi, a taboo illusion that can freely switch between dreams and reality. At the moment of activation, it can convert all the unfavorable factors including death to the caster into a dream in a very short period of time. At the same time, all events beneficial to him, such as the attacker's attack, are turned into reality. As long as it is used reasonably, all deaths can be perfectly avoided. Can be called the power of immortality, however. Advertisement. Although this technique is very powerful, the cost is also huge. As long as Izanagi is used, that eye will lose its light forever, and no magic can be used anymore. Because of this, it was listed as a forbidden technique by the Uchiha clan. But now, it's different. Once the Uchiha clan is destroyed, Danzo will be able to obtain a large amount of Sharingan. From then on, there is no need to worry about the cost of losing light, and the forbidden technique Izanagi can be used repeatedly. This also means that he will become an absolute, immortal body. It is Danzo who insists on destroying Uchiha's selfishness. For Konoha, it's true. For Sharingan, the same is true. Seeing Danzo showing such an excited look, the masked man couldn't help sneering in his heart. Of course he knew Danzo's true purpose, because his purpose, in fact, is almost the same. Relax, Shimura Danzo. Our agreement is still valid so far. After the action is completed, I will give you the share you deserve. The masked man said lowly. Then, putting his hand in front of his right eye, Kamui started. Gradually disappeared into the dark Uzumaki. Action. It's about to begin. Chapter 35. Qing Yu is dispatched. Hollow in the moonlight. 3 more, ===. Advertisement now. Rain Shinobi Village. Ding, the system prompts. The main mission has officially opened. Participate in the big event Uchiha Annihilation Night. 0/1, not completed, reward unknown. Qing Yu, who was lying at home reading a book, was reading with relish, and suddenly this reminder sounded in his mind. He sat up instantly, his eyes lit up, and an expression of surprise appeared on his face immediately. Is it finally coming? After waiting for so long, the prompt sound finally appeared. It seems that tonight is Uchiha's genocide night. Qing Yu stood up with a smile, and took out a black ball prop in the system space leisurely. Then, quickly inject oneself into it. Ryatsu. Bang. Next moment, seeing a flash of the white Ryatsu, the spiritual power in the black ball quickly began to expand and condense, and finally turned into a clone identical to Qing Yu. It is the portable corpse that has been used before. Call. Qing Yu exhaled. A faint smile appeared on his face. So next, it's time to let the good show come on stage. Qing Yu raised his hand, and his fingertips instantly condensed a golden Ryatsu, exuding breathtaking power. At the next moment, he knucked his fingers into the air and tapped. Boom. There was a burst of sound in the air instantly, like a mirror shattering, with countless cracks appearing. And the next moment, these cracks seemed to be torn apart by an invisible force, revealing the endless darkness in the cracks. This is Black Tone. Qing Yu, who had been prepared for a long time, certainly did not hesitate, and jumped directly into the black cavity. In the air, all the cracks began to close instantly. Finally, it is all concentrated into one point, disappeared. Advertisement. The room was very silent, and nothing seemed to have happened. Lingwu. Qing Yu smiled, sat down again, and continued to read the book next to him. Fire Country, in the forest outside Konoha village. Read more at mtlarchive.com. Moonlight rustled. There was a little bit of chill. A crack in the space opened silently, emitting a faint purple light. Afterwards, Qing Yu, dressed in black, stepped out. The crack closed instantly. So, just turn it on right here. Hollow's power. Qing Yu smiled and raised his hand, placing it in front of his face. Shinigami's hollow power, it was the reward that the system issued when he joined the Akatsuki organization. So far, he has never shown this power in front of anyone else. However, this does not mean that he is unskilled. After all, every time he was sent out for a task before, he would secretly practice the hollow mask.
Therefore, he is now able to control this power easily and freely. And, because of the existence of props and recovery medicines, he didn't have to worry about not having enough spiritual power in his body at all.
That's right. The recovery medicine item rewarded by the system is an item that can be used unlimited times with only a 10-minute cooldown. It is extremely buggy. Its function is also very simple, recovery of injury, plus, recovery of spiritual power. It is also commonly known as adding blood and blue. In theory, as long as Qing Yu uses the item at the right time and does not overdraft Ryotsu, he can come and stay hollow forever. Called best match, an excellent match. Qing Yu smiled, the virtual Ryotsu between his palms became more and more solid. Finally, when the boundary was reached, Ryotsu began to emit trembling sounds. Qing Yu concentrated and said lightly, hollow. Advertisement boom. As soon as the voice fell, the empty Ryotsu in the palm of his hand burst into streamer. At the next moment, all the streamers were directly attached to Qing Yu's face, turned into a white light, and enveloped it.
Immediately afterwards, the white light began to expand rapidly, like a ribbon, down Qing Yu's neck and chest, and finally, completely covered the entire body and limbs, even Zanpakutō on the waist.
The silent Shuji Ryotsu, amidst the turbulent movement, almost caused the entire space around him to tremble. At this moment, all the weeds and flowers around Qing Yu crumbled into dust. In the forest, the light of Qing Yu's body directly overwhelmed the moonlight. After a while, all the light began to converge, and Qing Yu's appearance has also begun a wonderful change. The first is his red cloud and black robe. This suit was originally a Death Tyrant outfit that merged with Akatsuki's uniform. At this moment, after Hollow, he changed directly into a Moon White Knight Palace costume. And his Zanpakutō quickly began to attach a layer of cold light, turning into a bright moonlight, extremely clear. Even Qing Yu's brown hair changed to silvery white at this moment. And in the end, it was his face. In front of his face, Ryotsu's white light gradually solidified. In the end, it became a mask of a fox ghost like a smile, exuding a mysterious aura, completely blocking his face. That's right. This is Qing Yu's masked posture. His hollow, from top to bottom, will completely change the entire form of the whole person and completely transform into a brand new existence. And what this state brings, of course, is not only the promotion of fashionable value. There is only one aspect of being handsome. Greater improvement lies in strength. Today's Qing Yu, the basic Ryotsu has directly reached more than 5 times the amount before Hollow. Therefore, regardless of its own speed, attack, or defense capabilities, all aspects will be greatly increased. It is the power that breaks the soul boundary between Shinigami and Uda. Chapter 36. This is the so-called Wool of Fire? 4 more, ===. Advertisement. Qing Yu lowered his head, looking at his brand new moon white costume, he showed a faint smile. Although he seems to have completed Hollow very easily now. However, if it is an ordinary Shinigami, it takes much more effort to master this hollow mask posture completely. Not only had to adapt to the backlash brought by the virtual soul in the body, but also had to overcome the virtuality in the body. But Qing Yu directly omitted these steps, because the power of Hollow rewarded by the system, from the beginning, is the perfect fusion of the virtual soul. All Qing Yu has to do is to get acquainted with this force. And the secret exercise in the past few months is the best familiarity process. Now, Qing Yu can already switch his soul state seamlessly. Shinigami and virtual, at this moment, a perfect balance is reached. Qing Yu raised his head, looked at the Lang Yu hanging high in the sky and muttered to himself. Almost, it should start. Qing Yu raised his hand, released Ryotsu, and once again skillfully opened the black cavity. Then, enter it, and at the same time on the other side. Konoha village, on the back mountain of the Uchiha mansion, at this moment, there are also 2 mysterious figures, quietly meeting. Are you here, Itachi? The mysterious masked man was holding his chest with both hands at the moment, looking at the figure that appeared in front of him, he spoke in a low voice. Under the pale moonlight, his blood-red Sharingan became more and more weird. And Uchiha Itachi in front of him, then he lowered his eyes slightly, and after a moment of silence, he said indifferently. Let's start. His voice is very cold. At this moment, he was so calm that he couldn't believe it. The masked man let out a deep laugh, then walked to Itachi's side and said. So, same as before. Members of the Uchiha garrison camp, I will be in charge. Advertisement, leave the rest to you. After everything is done, we will meet at the agreed place, do you understand? Uchiha Itachi did not answer. Instead, he turned around, jumped, and disappeared directly into the night. Read more at mtlarchive.com. His silence has already represented his thoughts. The masked man's eyes flickered slightly, awe. For Konoha, are you willing to do it this way? Really? This is the so-called product of the Will of Fire. Finished talking to himself. The figure of the masked man disappeared into Uzumaki in an instant. From now on, it was the official genocide, after tonight. Remove Uchiha Sasuke, Konoha's Uchiha clan will not have any livelihoods. In the Uchiha family residence at this time. As usual every night, calm and unwavering. The members of Konoha's security forces are mostly stationed in the camp, while most of the members of the clan have already fallen asleep and fell asleep. Only a few important positions are still guarded by guards. At this time, on a telephone pole, a black figure suddenly flashed out and stood on it. He was dressed in a gray Konoha Anbu uniform with a long knife on his back. Even when he was wearing a mask, he could vaguely see the red eyes flashing. The blood of the Uchiha clan inherits the limit, Sharingan. This figure silently looked around the Uchiha mansion in the dark, this familiar place. He has lived here since he was a child and cultivated here. Every brick and tile here is his memory, but now. Advertisement he knew that he had to cut off this memory. Huh? Who? At this time, a member of the security team by the door noticed him. But after that, he seemed to recognize the appearance of this figure directly, and suddenly he breathed a sigh of relief, and said with a smile. What? It turned out to be Itachi. It really scared me. You Anbu is so late, are you still coming out to perform the task? You are really busy. When the members on the side heard the words, they immediately relaxed, and while walking towards this side, they chuckled lightly and said. Haha, yes Itachi, finish the mission early and go back to rest, but you can't be exhausted. After all, you are. Base. The guard hasn't finished speaking yet. Suddenly, in the night sky, a silver-white light flashed and blood splashed. I don't know when, Itachi actually stood behind the two guards. Holding a long knife in his hand, bright red blood slowly slipped from the tip of the knife. However, the two guards had only a deep disbelief in their eyes, a fear that had deepened into the bones. Itachi. How can you? Before they finished speaking, the bodies of the two of them fell straight to the ground. His eyes were hollow and his breathing stopped, died on the spot. However, until their consciousness dissipated, they couldn't believe that Itachi would suddenly attack them. Silence spreads along with scarlet blood infiltration. In the dark, Itachi's Sharingan shone coldly. He did not look at the corpse, but raised the knife. Turning around instantly, rushed towards another house. Chapter 37. He is stepping on points to facilitate the killing. 5 shifts, ===. Advertisement at this time. The sky above Konoha village. Under the moonlight, a man is standing in the sky. He is wearing a moon-white long dress with a short sword on his waist, and his silver hair is slightly raised in the air. The mysterious fox ghost mask on his face was showing a silent smile. And at the moment, the entire layout of Konoha village has been completely seen by him. He stared down and muttered to himself, if you remember correctly. Nanga Shrine, it should be right by the river. Nanheshwan, it is a river that runs through the entire Konoha village. According to the information that Qing Yu had collected earlier, Nanhi Shrine of the Uchiha clan is located at the most downstream location. After determining the position, Qing Yu did not hesitate and instantly moved towards Shunpo below. His primary purpose now, of course, it is to complete the branch tasks of the system and read the inscriptions of the Uchiha clan at Nanga Shrine. As for the ferret and the masked man, Qing Yu also had a complete countermeasure in his heart. In front of the Nanga Shrine, 2 guards of the Uchiha clan were sitting leisurely on the steps, chatting. One of them took a cigarette, narrowed his eyes, and exclaimed. Speaking of which, I suddenly felt that the young Master Itachi from the Patriarch's house is really a well-deserved genius. Well, what do you say? I saw him leaping over the entire Uchiha mansion this afternoon. The speed is nothing to say, even, he has been here before. Ah, no, Master Itachi has been to the shrine? Yup. The smoking guard smiled softly and said, I think he was probably to take a good look at the mansion of our Uchiha clan, so that it will be convenient to protect us in the future. Advertisement. Hearing this, the young man on the side suddenly widened his eyes, admiring authentically. As expected of Master Itachi, obviously, he is only 13 years old, so he cares about the whole clan so much. However, as soon as he said this, read more at mtlarchive.com. Suddenly, a chuckle voice appeared behind the two. These words are really interesting. Didn't you two think about it? That guy actually stepped on some points in advance and killed people later for convenience? As soon as the voice fell, the 2 guards were all startled. Damn it. Who is speaking? The 2 of them were all startled at once, and quickly turned and looked behind them. At this look, the 2 of them had a cold blood, but I don't know when, on the roof of the shrine behind him, at this moment, there is a moon-white figure standing. He wears a smiling fox ghost mask, and looks strange in the moonlight. You. Who are you? Unexpectedly, dare to say bad things about our Master Itachi. How could he kill people? Although the 2 were afraid, but he still mustered his courage and said loudly and tremblingly. Actually, the 2 of them were scared to death. How did this figure appear? They didn't even notice it, it was like a ghost. When I think of the shrine on the side, it naturally adds some horror atmosphere. And at this time, hearing what the 2 said, Qing Yu on the roof of the shrine just chuckled and jumped off the shrine, without intending to talk too much nonsense. Anyway, after waiting for Itachi to come, they probably knew. When the 2 guards saw Qing Yu approaching, they were shocked all over, and quickly raised the weapon in their hands, seeming to try to defend. Advertisement. But, the next moment, they suddenly discovered that an invisible pressure had fallen from the sky. Almost at the same moment, the 2 suddenly knelt to the ground. That invisible and terrifying coercion is like a pair of big hands slapped directly on their bodies, and it has even prevented them from standing normally. What's going on? What kind of power is this? The 2 guards knelt down on the ground, their faces pale for a moment, their eyes widened, completely frightened, and the sweat on their faces rained down. At this moment, Qing Yu still smiled and said, Listen well, I will only ask what I said once. Does the Nanga shrine in your Uchiha's house have a basement? Where is the entrance? As soon as the voice fell, the two guards suddenly froze at the same time. What happened? The purpose of this mysterious man is to enter the basement of the shrine. However, the Fuyue Patriarch has already ordered that no one can enter it without his permission. Just as the two hesitated, suddenly, on the two of them, the terrifying coercion turned out to be even greater. It seems that you two don't seem to understand. Qing Yu raised his right hand lightly, condensing a moon-white imaginary Ryatsu, looked at the guards, and smiled gently and said, "You have to step on the ants without stepping on them to death. This force is hard to control." Chapter 38 The Tampered Steel will eventually meet, 6 changes, ===. Advertisement after Hollow, Qing Yu, Ryatsu's level is 5 times higher than normal. Therefore, the degree of interference with reality has long been far greater than before. His external release of Ryatsu doesn't even need to accumulate energy, so it can easily make these weak people unable to stand up. And at the moment, after the two guards felt this even more terrifying pressure, of course they were suddenly scared. Ah, the basement is in the second entrance of the shrine. You only need to touch the mechanism stone outside the entrance, and you will be able to open the door to the basement. The bones of the two of them were about to be crushed at this moment. How can they have the mind to think about the command of the Patriarch? Of course, it is more important to survive. So, he rushed to confess. Very good. Qing Yu nodded in satisfaction, then turned around and walked towards the shrine, while turning his back to the two of them, smiling and saying, "Your lives can be saved for the time being." When the voice fell, he has already Shunpo entered the hall of the shrine. When the two guards heard this, they let out a sigh of relief.
However, they realized that the pressure on their bodies didn't seem to be relieved at all, and the two of them still couldn't stand up, they could only kneel here.
The two were speechless and could only smile bitterly. And in the middle of my heart, I hope someone will come to rescue them. And this side, Qing Yu, who entered the shrine, did not care about everything around him, but according to the information from the guards, he came directly to the second entrance. Sure enough, in this small room, there was indeed an object similar to a mechanism stone. Qing Yu thought, Ryatsu gushed out, and the mechanism stone began to operate. At the next moment, the two floors were suddenly separated on the floor in front of him, and an entrance to the bottom was suddenly revealed. It is the basement. Qing Yu didn't hesitate, and immediately walked down the steps. He knows, under here, there should be the stone steel tampered with by Black Zetsu.
All the way down. Then you can clearly feel that the temperature is getting lower and lower, and the surroundings are getting quieter and quieter.
It was not until Qing Yu reached the bottom that he saw the end of the passage, a sealed stone gate. Various complicated spells are attached to it. Advertisement. It clearly shows that there are very important things inside. Qing Yu didn't intend to read the curse above at all, but rather directly raised an index finger very indifferently, and pointed at the stone gate in front. In the next moment, the moon-white void Ryatsu began to condense at the fingertips, like a small energy ball, condensing at high speed. After a certain limit, Qing Yu said lightly, "Sero." Boom. Read more at mtlarchive.com. As soon as the voice fell, the light ball in front of Qing Yu's fingertips instantly rushed out, turning into a bright Ryatsu beam of light, like a laser cannon, directly blasting on the stone gate. The powerful Ryatsu Yue made the whole space seem to start to vibrate. And that stone gate full of seals, under Qing Yu's Sero, was instantly blasted to pieces, and directly exploded. The rocks and dust flew up. Qing Yu showed a satisfied smile. Sero's power did not disappoint him. Qing Yu stepped into the stone room, and the moment he entered, he immediately saw a black stone steel, quietly displayed in it. Qing Yu's eyes lit up and immediately walked forward. Nani stone steel, it was carved personally by Sage of Six Paths. The original purpose was to let the reincarnation of the eldest son Indra know his way back. However, in the course of historical development, there are often variables. After the death of Sage of Six Paths, Black Zetsu found the steel and modified the content on the steel to guide the man astray. Later, this stone tablet became part of the Nanga shrine of the Uchiha clan. According to the setting of the steel, the content on it is divided into 3 parts, which can be read by Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, and Rinnegan. Those who have not opened their eyes can only see the simplest content. It seems that this is the thing that delayed Uchiha Madara's life. Qing Yu looked at the stone tablet in front of him, showing a faint smile. He didn't have Sharingan, and naturally he couldn't read any hints contained in it. However, it's okay if you don't understand, because, just as he finished reading the simple inscription in front of him, the prompt sounded instantly. Ding! Congratulations to host, the main branch mission has been completed. Read the Nanga Shrine Stone Tablet, 1/1, once, completed, reward. Ryatsu plus 5,000. Add 5,000 points directly, Ryatsu? Qing Yu's eyes lit up suddenly, and he couldn't help showing a pleasant smile. It is worthy of being a branch task of the main line. Sure enough, the rewards have completely exceeded the ordinary branch line. It seems that the remaining branch tasks should not be ambiguous. Advertisement, now, outside Nanga Shrine. While Qing Yu was reading the inscription, suddenly, a black figure came to the front of the shrine. It is Uchiha Itachi. At this time, his complexion was still indifferent, but he didn't know when, a few drops of fresh blood were stained on his face. And the blade in his hand was covered with traces of blood flowing through, and it looked particularly gloomy in the moonlight. The bleak cold wind passed. He silently walked towards the 2 guards in front. In his eyes, a trace of complicated emotion flashed occasionally, but was instantly suppressed. By now, he knew that it was impossible for him to look back. After beheading the whole clan, it is no longer possible to stop here. However, he had just walked to the side of the two guards, and one of them suddenly realized that he was coming, very pleasantly surprised. Itachi, Master Itachi? Great, you are finally here? We just found one. Puff, before the voice fell, the blood flew up. Under the pale moonlight, blood is like splashing flowers, blooming on the earth. Uchiha Itachi's sharp blade slashed through the throats of the two guards at an extremely fast speed, without stopping at all. As for the unfinished words in the guard's mouth, Itachi didn't care anymore. It doesn't matter what they planned to say. Because now, everything is about to end. Here, is what he agreed with the mysterious masked man. Finally the meeting place. Chapter 39. People sit at home, and the pot comes from the sky. One more, equals. Advertisement. The cold wind passed. The smell of earth is mixed with the smell of blood. Uchiha Itachi lowered his eyes slightly, put the blade in his hand into the sheath, and exhaled slowly. So far, he has done everything he needs to do. Itachi raised his head and looked in the direction of Uchiha's mansion with complicated eyes. He seemed to be able to see the despair and fear of his younger brother, and the anger when Sharingan had been turned on. Forgive me, Sasuke. Live well, then, become stronger. Just when Itachi thought, suddenly, in the air behind him, a distorted space Uzumaki began to appear. Immediately afterwards, a masked man in a black robe appeared from it. Oh, is it over, Itachi? The moment he appeared, the masked man said in his unique low tone. The reason why he set Nanga Shrine as the meeting place. First of all, it's because it's off the beaten track, let alone the people of Konoha village, even the Uchiha clan, usually very few people come here. The other point is that it is directly leaning against the edge of Konoha, basically to the extent that you can leave by turning over the courtyard wall. Hearing the voice of the masked man, Itachi immediately put away his thoughts and turned his head. But when I saw the black robe of the masked man, he did not know when he was stained with a lot of blood, and it became a weird dark red. Obviously, since he has come here, it means that all the members of the Uchiha garrison have also been wiped out. After a moment of silence, Itachi asked indifferently. You came slower than I expected, what happened to you? Really, with the power of the masked man Uchiha Madara that he knew, it was only against a garrison, it shouldn't take so long. Hearing this, the masked man let out a deep laugh, and replied. Ah, there is no situation, it's just that I dealt with it a little bit. Let's go, 1,007, now I can take you to find the organization. Finished, the masked man turned around. After a flicker of Itachi's eyes, he also turned around, preparing to leave. But at this moment, suddenly, advertisement a faint voice sounded softly from the darkness behind the two, ethereal like the sound of a knife. Tisk tisk. Unexpectedly, in such a short period of time, did your actions have ended? It's really fast, Uchiha's too. As soon as the voice fell, it was like blowing up in the dark. Read more at mtlarchive.com. In an instant, the masked man and Uchiha Itachi stagnated at the same time, his pupils shrank suddenly, and he looked behind him quickly. The two people's hearts were shocked. With their powerful strength, they didn't even realize that there was someone behind them. Who is it? When did you come? What is the purpose? Within half a second of turning around, thousands of thoughts burst into the hearts of the two people. And until they saw the existence behind them clearly. Thoughts are interrupted. I saw, on the street lamp in front of the shrine. A 1-month white figure stood on it. He wears a mysterious fox ghost mask with a white short sword slung around his waist. The breeze blew, rolled up his clothes, and his silver hair fluttered. Under the moonlight, all the pictures looked so strange and uncoordinated. This man, it gave them a feeling of extreme danger. Like the bones of death, like a hunting beast. The masked man and Uchiha Itachi looked at each other immediately, and then both saw a dignified look in each other's eyes. Obviously, this person, neither of them knew him. Realize this. The expressions of the two became serious at the same time. Itachi put his hand directly on the hilt behind his back, ready to fight at any time. The plan has reached this point, and he does not allow other errors. The masked man narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice. Tisk, the guy who pretends to be a fool, who are you? As soon as this word came out, Qing Yu on the road suddenly smiled and said. Are you pretending to be a fool? Advertisement, compared with you, I'm still a little bit worse. Lord Uchiha Madara, actually know my pretended identity? The masked man's eyes flashed, and he couldn't help but wonder. He appeared in this orange mask and disguised himself as Uchiha Madara. Very few people knew about this. Except for Akatsuki's pain, Konan, and Zetsu, among Konoha, it seems that there are only Uchiha Itachi and Shimura Danzo. But obviously, Itachi will not reveal his information. In other words, is this guy someone sent by Danzo? Aware of this, the masked man raised his eyes suddenly and said solemnly. Whispering sound, you guy, is Shimura Danzo's subordinate? As soon as this word came out, the Itachi on the side suddenly moved his eyes slightly. However, on the road, Qing Yu suddenly chuckled, raised his hands, and clapped his hands. Flap. It's you. You guessed it right, in that case. Then I don't seem to have any need to keep hiding. Talking, Qing Yu jumped from the street lamp and came to the two of them. While stepping forward, he slowly pulled out the white blade from his waist. Smiling softly. Yes, I was sent by Lord Danzo. Responsible for obtaining all Sharingan tonight, and, Kill the two of you. As soon as the voice fell, the masked man and Uchiha Itachi all constricted in an instant. Froze. Chapter 42 Pawns? Are you talking about us? 2 more, equals. Advertisement dead still. Nanga Shrine, which was originally very peaceful. At this moment, because of the bright knife light, it became more silent.
Masked man and Uchiha Itachi, at the same time stunned.
In fact, in the hearts of both of them just now, they also speculated about the reason for the appearance of the guy in front of them. But even if they had made a bad mental plan, they never expected that this guy would say such a thing. Not only have to take away all Sharingan, but even kill both of them?
Is this Shimura Danzo TM crazy? And, in this Uchiha genocide, are they not a cooperative relationship?
Why did this come out suddenly? The masked man sank his face, squinted his eyes slightly, looked at Qing Yu in front of him, and said coldly.
Humph, that old fellow Shimura Danzo, do you want to abandon the promise and shoot us? By now, of course he would not doubt the identity of Qing Yu.
After all, apart from him and Itachi, throughout Konoha, there is a detailed knowledge of the extermination plan and the existence of Madara, and there is only the leader of the root, Shimura Danzo. The mask that this guy wears is indeed very similar to Danzo's root organization. This question is interesting. After hearing the question from the masked man, Hollow's Qing Yu chuckled lightly and said, Master Danzo did say that he would cooperate with you to complete the extermination of Uchiha. But, he didn't say that he would let you two leave alive. Isn't it? 2 chess pieces, advertisement. As soon as the voice fell, let alone the masked man, this time, even Uchiha Itachi on the side suddenly condensed his eyes. 2 pawns? Is this calling the two of us? Read more at mtlarchive.com. Danzo, this old Yinbi, is he really ready to eat black from the beginning? When the two were secretly angry, Qing Yu spoke again. He raised his hand, opened his palm, looked at the masked man, and said with a smile. Come on, Uchiha Madara, hand over all Sharingan you collected from the Uchiha clan tonight. It would be too inelegant to let me grab it. As soon as this word came out, the masked man immediately suffocated a wave of blood in his chest. NMD. You just reached out for me like this, isn't it AF ***** G obvious grab?
That's it, it's an elegant fart. Humph, it seems that Konoha's senior management is still unreliable. Sand soccer a download.
The masked man raised his head slightly, the red Sharingan flickered, narrowed his eyes lightly, and said indifferently. Do it, 1,007. Let the old fellow Shimura Danzo know how stupid he is choosing to be our enemy. As soon as the voice fell, the masked man leapt slightly, then stepped back directly to the side, folded his hands, and chose to watch the battle. As the first shadow of the ninja world, without knowing the intelligence of the mysterious enemy in front of him, he certainly wouldn't act without authorization. And Uchiha Itachi next to him is naturally the best fighter. Hearing the words of the masked man Uchiha Madara, Itachi was silent for a moment, before pulling out the long knife behind his back. Although he always felt that something was wrong. Advertisement however, the person in front of him is indeed the enemy, at least there is no doubt about it. As for Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, of course, Itachi also knew that the reason why the masked man came late was to collect his eyes. But he did not expect, Shimura Danzo was so greedy to send someone to snatch it. Next, there is only battle. Uchiha Itachi raised the knife in his hand and looked at Qing Yu in front of him, indifferently. The white masked man, say your name, at least, I. You talk a lot of nonsense, Sero. Boom. Before Uchiha Itachi's voice fell, Qing Yu from Hollow raised his right hand directly and quickly. Afterwards, the white Sero shot out in an instant. The violent Ryatsu storm swept across, with the terrifying coercion that annihilated everything, it came directly. Seeing this picture, Uchiha Itachi's face suddenly changed and became silly. What happened? How can a serious ninja sneak attack when someone is halfway through talking? Moreover, this. What is going on? Doesn't this technique require seal formation at all?